It's tabletop time.
I'm Rob.
I'm Jazza.
I'm Dave.
And I'm Jeremy.
And we are about to embark on a world of whimsy and adventure in Hogwarts First Class.
First Class? That sounds interesting. What's the hook with First Class? Why is it called First Class?
Well, I saw the movie X-Men First Class and I thought, that's a cool idea. No, it's the first group of students who ever went to Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry.
This is canon.
No,
at
it's not.
JK, you tell her. Maybe don't.
No, maybe don't.
Speaking of JK, let's just put JK in a box and far away from what we're doing here
what
together.
we're playing with
we're
is
mucking
your
around.
nostalgic childhoods. That's
And
where,
ours.
and ours. I grew up with the book.
We're going to ruin
I
it.
read Harry Potter when I was 11, and we're taking it away and just having a journey in
Having
that
a
kind of
romp.
world of whimsy and magic.
Absolutely.
I'm just
And-
trying not to step out of the accent. 'Cause if I do, I'm not getting back in it.
Embrace,
Stay there.
Embrace that world of whimsy and wonder, and try to relax and remember that we're just playing a game. And in the world of wherever year we're in, things are not going to be historically accurate, and we're not trying to make them historically accurate. These accents we're all going to terribly put on aren't even remotely appropriate for the era, but it's fine.
Apologize if I offend anyone.
Suspension of disbelief is the core
Enjoy.
principle of this entire one-shot. But if you guys love it, and we sincerely hope you do because we want to love it, there's room for future years of Hogwarts to enjoy together. Just worth putting that out there.
Do we want to follow these students through their years at Hogwarts? Who knows? If you like
find
them,
out.
we'll find
That'd be
out.
pretty cool.
Now, it's worth also very worthwhile mentioning that this was voted on by our dear patrons. They voted on the Harry Potter
They chose
based
this.
one shot, the First Class. So chosen by wonderful patrons. Thank you so much, patrons. And also, this is brought to you by Black Magic and Da Vinci Resolve, sponsor of Tabletop Time. They brought us back from the dead. We used the A10 Mini switcher as a switcher for our battle report recently for the first time.
Oh my god.
You'll see that come out later this week. I'm going to say it was game-changing in a number of ways.
It was a very cool toy.
It was very cool.
more
It was
than a toy.
amazing to use, but also we learnt so much about the editing software I use every day from the file that it made for us by default. It's just such a cool suite of software and hardware. Super amazing. So thank you, Blackmagic, for providing us with amazing hardware and software, and to our patrons for supporting us and making all this stuff possible.
Speaking of magic, is it time to embark on
I think it's time.
Let's get on with it.
So, we are going to briefly overview the setting, and the setting is somewhere around the 10th to 11th century. Hogwarts has been founded by the four founding fathers, mothers and fathers of Hogwarts. We have Rowena Ravenclaw, Helga Hufflepuff, Godric Gryffindor, and Salazar Slytherin. And our players will be young 11-year-old tykes in this era of Britain, whatever it's called at the time. And we're going to basically watch their journey unfold. So, would you like to introduce your characters?
I feel like Rob should start. He's got the accent hanging on the tip of his tongue.
Oh, that's just mean. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm Liam McCulloch. I'm a 11-year-old boy from somewhere in the Highlands of Ireland or Scotland.
Whenever the accent sounds most
Wherever
appropriate.
that's from, it's a bit of a
Island, I think.
bastardization, but that's fine.
Right in between on the border.
Exactly.
There's no border.
There's no
between.
border. I live in the ocean.
On a little island.
A little island between Ireland
Island
and
between Ireland and Scotland.
And on the island is where my family, I don't know where I went with that, is where my family tames dragons.
Very cool.
That's all you get.
Is that something that Liam's really
I'd say,
into?
is it a bit of a dragon sanctuary? Because we are in the
Sure.
height of dragon slaying.
Sure, let's go with that.
Yeah, because think of it like the Muggles are like organizing and building castles, and now dragons are a problem. So
They're wonderful creatures if you can get a hold of them.
battalion of foot soldiers clad in armor can take care of one, I tell you that. The best longbowmen, longbows probably haven't been invented yet. Historians are going to be like, actually, no, just forget about
Do you
it.
know all the stuff like that become core parts of the Harry Potter universe? Things like auras and all this stuff. Just picturing how this would feel in
Come
like
together.
Anyway, well, hello, Liam.
Pleasure to meet you. Top of the morning.
I'm Nicholas Plod. I'm from Northern England. I'm in a family of farmers. Plod sort of started as a little bit of a moniker, a bit of an insult, because we plod around, we get the job done. But they really rely on me. In a family of 10, I'm the oldest, and I'm 11. And I'm really working hard to keep the farm going. Just don't question the accent. And I'm Muggle-born, so I don't even know about the wizarding world yet. And I wonder if there is one, or if I'll be introduced to it sometime. We'll find out in this episode of Art Attack. I'm sorry, I had to get that out of my system. Wiley.
Yeah. My name is Wylick. Wylick. No, it's Wiley Wendrick, in fact. And I come from a family of potion makers, but they're not so good potion makers. In fact, we are somewhat rehearsed in magic, but not overly. So, yeah, they make potions and they sell them, some to muggles, or attempting potions to muggles, but yes, not overly too
It's
special.
a bit cheeky, but there's no wizarding academy.
Yes.
Not academy. There's no Ministry of Magic yet. It's like a circle of powerful wizards that kind of have discussions at meetings every now and then. It's not so much the organised. Yeah. But you're in a time of great persecution.
I feel like just before we move on from characters, we should probably physically describe ourselves.
Oh, yes,
because we sort of did skip past that. But we need we're setting into potentially 7 years of Hogwarts.
You're all 11, so that's the first thing.
Yeah. Jeremy, do you want to start?
I
Physical description and touch.
Maybe you start.
I haven't.
Jeremy
I'm
knows
Nicholas
all of
Plod. I've got sandy sort of, I'm going to say, straw-coloured hair, long and scruffy. Looks like it's really part of the hay that I clean out every day. Gets stuck in me hair, and it just looks like my hair is sticking out in different directions. And I'm going to say I'm a little broader, even for 11 years old. I've got a built stature. I stack stone, and I wrestle cattle. And for an 11-year-old, that's pretty impressive.
Oh, you have to.
So I may plod, but I plod hard.
I'm gonna slip into that so bad.
What?
Your accent.
Good luck. The northern one's really hard to do.
Yeah, I know, but I'm.
Come on, give us your description.
Yarchichar, start with that.
So Liam's see, I just immediately went lower.
Don't worry about it. Embrace it.
Just go for it.
The whimsy of the magical world is accents flow and change. It's just part of the magic in the air.
Liam. See, I keep going lower. Anyway, Liam has. I just dropped the accent. Liam has.
We really need to just forget about the accents.
Let's just
and
go.
what I mean is
just
not
play the game.
It's fine. Doing the accents is fine.
I'll get back into
They're going to be terrible. We're Australian. We have one of the hardest things to do ever for us is to do accents because we bloody talk like this, mate. So just forget about worrying about them and just do it. Or don't, but do it.
So Liam's from the Scottish Highlands, or Irish. He's Irish-Scottish hybrid. He's got long, shaggy hair. It's kind of dark brown with a hint of like red in it. Mm-hmm. Cool. But he's a child. So
Long, or how long is his hair?
Like shoulder length. But he's just kind of like falling back behind him.
Cool.
Just like brushed back. I think like Ned Stark, but with like more
cool.
red.
I like it.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Wiley has kind of grey silvery kind of hair because there was a mishap with some potions and with his parents and
I
stuff.
like that.
Nice.
Yeah, that's just happened, and he has kind of bright blue eyes. Pretty tall, pretty lanky as well, and a bit slummy. Like, where's the scarf? Of course. And yeah, like kind of more grey, mono kind of clothes.
I love the where's the scarf. There's no uniforms yet.
No.
It's the first
It's just we wear
it's
scarves.
You're just
in
wearing
general.
scarves. Yeah,
that's nice to.
Just
It's fashion day.
just generally.
Of course it is. It's 10 whatever. Or it's 9 whatever. I don't know. Is it 982? Is it 1042? Who knows? So, who would like to start?
Should we roll?
I might offer myself up as this because this is my first experience with the Wizarding World. Everyone else has been in the Wizarding World, but it might be a fun way to enter into it through Nicholas's eyes.
Cool. So, I would like you then, Nicholas, to explain to us. You set your scene. Where are you? What are you doing?
It's a dismal day. Pretty scruffy afternoon as far as afternoons go. I've had a bloody hard day. Today was actually sheep were getting shorn. It's a real big time of the year for the family. And I've only been doing this for a couple of years as far as carrying some of the load, but you know, I'm really ready to pitch in and take up responsibility. And I've been shoring sheep all day, and I'm knackered, but satisfied.
So, you're carrying, you're watching them load up carts and boxes of shorn sheep. It's a large farming area. Lots of the peasantry in the area are farming for the local baron. And you're towards the end of the day. You're very tired. And you see one of your numerous younger siblings run up, and they're watching the goings on of what's happening. They're very excited. The sheep are being sheared. And they are quite close to one of the containers. There's a bit of a rope system. They're pulling and lifting this thing. And you're quite nearby. And suddenly, there's a snap. And the crate falls toward your younger sibling.
Millie! Watch out!
And it's going to crush them. And in a moment of something you've never experienced before, your hand darts out. And it's almost like a blast of energy, and the crate blows backwards and blows away from Millie. And she's safe and spared.
Millie, you're right. You got to watch where you're running, lass.
Boy? What just happened? What was that? And you see a couple of the farmhands who were watching the scene.
There must have been a bird flying, like a big bird. I'm looking around for a large bird.
Make a deception roll.
Okay. Challenge level. What is it? Nothing. Critical fail.
Okay, critical fail.
Yeah.
He's a witch! He's a witch! The boy's a witch!
I have no idea what you're talking about. Don't be ridiculous.
And the peasantry already begin to turn on you. Even Millie, who you just saved, is backing away from you with fear in her eyes.
And am I aware that I did that in that moment?
You have it's unbelievable, but you have the sense that you did. And occasionally in your life,
it's impossible.
Little things have happened occasionally where you've suspected, but you've always been like, that was just weird. Perhaps it was a divine act or something. But you've seen weird things have happened around you in your life.
It was the Lord. I must have. It's a miracle.
Grab him.
No.
Take him to the church.
I run.
And you begin running.
Yeah, I'm 11. I'm like, I can interweave through.
And you're running down the muddy streets. Your life has just turned on its head. You've just saved your younger sister, but at the same time, it seems like you might have damned yourself. Witchcraft, where before the Inquisition, but it's still, it's
getting primed up.
It's bad news. Yeah. And as you're running along, you dart away, and the mob is sort of chasing you, and you bump readily into a well-dressed woman. Who's standing tall and proud with a sort of a diadem on her head with long black hair and fair skin in a lovely, almost gown of nobility, who looks down upon you.
Oh, sorry, I'm just and I go to run.
She grabs your arm. Nicholas Plod?
How did you know my name?
I've been keeping an eye on you.
Have you got somewhere I can hide?
I do, in fact. Hold on tight. This is going to feel a bit weird. And there's a flash and a churning blast of magic, and you disappear and reappear somewhere else. It feels like your guts have turned inside out, and you land with a crash
Where
in a
am
field. You're in the Highlands now, she says.
What on earth was that?
And you turn your head, and in front of you, on a cliff beside a lake, is a massive castle.
Whoa!
Scene. And she says, welcome to Hogwarts. And then we'll go to the next person. Who's next?
Shall we roll?
Yeah. You're going to have a lot to deal with.
Wait, higher or lower?
It's very traumatic.
Lower.
Lower goes first.
I think so. I don't know. What do you think? Oh.
So who's first?
I'll take it. Bring it on.
You're sitting by the hearth fire. It's early evening. One of your parents is home, your father. And there is a sharp rapping at the door. Fetch it, boy!
Hi, Dad.
Or I should say, fetch it, boy.
Hi, Pa.
I'm Irish too. I'm your pa, and I'm also Irish. Fetch the bloody door.
I get up and I answer the bloody door.
And in front of you, you see a distinguished-looking man
Who the bloody hell are you?
long beard, who you recognise to be Salazar Slytherin, a reputed wizard. And your he's visited once or twice before. Yes. He looks down.
Hey, Master
boy.
Salazar.
What was your name again?
Liam McCulloch.
Wonderful. May I come inside?
Hey, certainly. I'll get me Pa.
With a wave of his hand, a broomstick floats in and goes and settles itself upon the stand in your house. And he walks in, and your father comes out and he says, "Oh, pleasure to see you there. Take a seat. What can I? Well, I guess it must be time then, hey?
What you talking about?
Well, son, we didn't want to ruin the surprise, but you're going to boarding school."
But I thought I was going to stay here and learn to train the dragons.
When someone as important as Mr. Slytherin here wants your own boy for his academy, I can't say we could refuse.
But why not me brothers? Why me?
Well, boy, because you're the smartest of the lot.
I know that.
Exactly, and I've had my eye on you. I think you'd make a fine addition to the academy, and more than that, you would study directly under me. There are other teachers, but in my house you would find excellence beyond compare.
Hi, that does sound good.
Wonderful. So you've got everything, or your wand?
Not much to take, but let's go.
Your dad's like, I've packed your bag, son, don't worry. And then he flicks his wand and this trunk goes down the thing and floats into the center of the room.
Quick to see the back of me, are ya?
Well, I won't say you're not a handful, son, but this will be good for you. Teach you a bit of discipline. I thought dragons could, but I guess not.
Hey, they're just like big cats.
Big hot cats.
He says, nursing a bird.
Nursing a bird. And Slytherin just says, wonderful. So, I imagine you cannot fly yet.
Hey, not unless you got a dragon I can jump on.
I suppose you can journey with me. And he brandishes his wand and charms your trunk to levitate and walks out the door, leading you to fly towards Hogwarts.
Let's go then.
And we'll lead towards Wiley. What you doing? Set your scene.
I'm just chilling. It's chilling in the slums kind of thing. My parents kind of sent me out to try and sell some potions kind of thing.
Cool.
And yeah.
So at the end of your long day, you head home from a somewhat unfruitful day of making potions, and you arrive to your very modest home, to a sort of very warm-looking woman who's sitting and speaking with your mother. She's got curly brown hair and sort of a big smile and rosy cheeks on her face, and she nods towards you as you enter.
Oh, hello.
Greetings. I'm Helga, she says, in the wrong accent.
I'm Wiley.
Well, pleasure to meet you then. I'd like to offer you something.
What might that be?
A place at a school, a place of learning. You're going to be learning well and learning fast, good boy. This place is a small change to your future, as lovely as it is.
Right.
So, how do you like the sound of coming to school with me?
What kind of school is this?
Well, it's a mighty big castle up on a hill.
Oh, okay.
There's a lake and there's a forest and, well, it's quite wonderful if I do say so.
Oh.
And you'll be with other children, other magic children. It'd be nice. You've probably not had that much around here, selling things to other muggles.
No.
So, Shall we go then?
Yes. Okay.
Well, it's pretty crazy. Yeah, could have.
Yeah.
Your mother and I
Take it or leave it.
your mother and I have talked over the details, and
Yes.
everything's sorted.
Well, goodbye then, Mother.
Oh, come on now, give her a hug.
I'll go and hug her.
Okay, good. She gives
We're
you
not that
a big.
close.
She gives you a big hug, and then Helga gives you a big hug, and Helga's tearing up, and she's like, "Oh, such an emotional moment. Oh, mother and child separating. Come on, then, let's
Really,
go."
it's not that much.
And they just kind of whisk you away from your various situations, and through the sort of variant way that things happened, you all wind up arriving at Hogwarts around the same time. So you guys left earlier. You apparate there. The anti-apparition chants haven't been established yet. And a cart rocks up, a couple of broomsticks land, and from various situations, about a dozen students all end up arriving at roughly the same time on the grounds of Hogwarts. And you see a big bearded man with a sort of a ginger beard, wearing a red doublet and quite large clothes, with a ruby encrusted sword at his hilt, who looks quite like one of the king's henchmen, walk up towards you. He's got a large traditional wizard's hat on. Greetings, everyone. I am Godric Gryffindor, and I welcome you all to Hogwarts.
Did they grab you out of nowhere too? I whisper across to the person next to me, who happens to be Liam.
Who the hell do you think you are talking to me?
Never you mind him. And a young boy with short brown hair and like big wide eyes offers his hand, and he says, "Pleasure to meet you. Don't worry, those kinds of people."
What's your name?
I'm Merlin.
Hello, Merlin. I'm Nicholas Plod, but people just call me Plod.
And he firmly grips your hand and shakes it. He says, "Lovely to meet you. You look a little bit out of sorts. Are you all right?"
Well, I've got more shearing to do tomorrow, and I'm awfully behind already.
Oh, shearing.
I'm gonna get in trouble for... I don't even know how I got here.
You were apparated here. It was a spell cast by lovely Miss Ravenclaw, I believe.
A spell, you say?
Yes.
How common is this sort of thing?
Oh. And then the sort of sharp-looking woman leans in and says, a woman, I say, a young girl, and she says, uneducated swine then. Disgusting. You're not suited to be at a place like this. Can't you see it's a prestigious magic academy?
I can't say I feel all that suited to be in a place like this.
And you're absolutely not. And she like flips her robe and walks
I'm not in class
snootily
with
away. Directly up to you and says, "However, you, sir, look far more suited for this kind of place."
Do I recognise her?
You don't.
Okay.
But she offers her hand.
By looking at her, is she like nobility?
She looks well, yes.
Yeah, I'll
yes.
schmooze her.
Definitely looks like nobility.
I'll take her hand and I'll do the whole...
Yep.
Hey,
And she says, "And what was your name?"
Liam McCulloch.
Merlin's. My name is Morgan Le Fay. Pleasure to meet you.
You too, lass.
And she shakes your hand. She says, "I was chosen by Gryffindor himself."
Aye, Slytherin came to me house and invited me along, but I was in the midst of feeding the dragons, so...
Slytherin, is it? Merlin runs up and he says, "I'm one of his. Yes."
Hey, pleasure to meet you.
Got some aptitude, he says.
We'll see.
Well, what about you, boy?
My name is Wiley.
Gosh, you're tall.
Yeah. Well, I was just born this way.
So while this is happening, this is kind of the students bustling and talking.
Yeah.
There's the adults are talking and doing things. It's all happening. But this is the kind of gossipiness.
Does anyone know what's going to happen? What's all this about?
Not a clue.
To learn magic. Well, more magic. And he pats a large book under his arm.
Can I
Merlin's got-
write a letter home to my parents?
You can't write at all. You're illiterate.
Can I? Can someone write a letter home? Can someone tell my parents where I am? They'll be awfully worried.
A hand.
You don't know how to write, mate.
A hand clasp on your shoulder, and I'm sorry for the nature in which we got here, but I'd like to say that we'll arrange everything for you.
Okay.
That's my much more accurate Rowena Ravenclaw Scottish rather than the Irish thing. Anyway,
if you say so.
I'm sorry, lad, but come on, inside with you all. And you're taken in to the nascent Hogwarts. There's a wizard sort of gesticulating with his wand, and some masonry is bending into shape, and he's crafting each little bit, and they're still perfecting. There's a witch on a broomstick up on high who's just going, and with each little flick of the tip of her wand, a tile is like setting in place on one of the wizard's towers. And the Hogwarts looks very different from the Hogwarts of the future. Like, it's forms and changes over the years. The forest completely surrounds the mountain that Hogwarts is on, as opposed to where it's been sort of reduced in the future. And the lake is still full, but the grand hall opens, and there aren't paintings, there aren't history, there aren't ghosts. It's like empty. It's a brand new castle. It's almost cold and uninviting, but there's a warmth. And as they come in, Godric flicks his wand, and things like candles appear and light.
It's a bit warmer.
Do you know a spell? I say to Wiley.
Or not. I know of spells, but I don't really know many of them.
What spells do you know of?
Well,
I don't know of any.
You can transform people, and you can transform things.
Into what?
Anything.
Anything.
Do you want to know what it's like to lose your fingers? Because I know a spell that can do that. My brother's taught me.
Oh, well, I know more practical. Well, I don't. I know a few people have done that without a spell. This is a lot.
Well, this is a nice school. Is anyone else with Hufflepuff?
Yes.
I'm Baraith. Nice to meet you.
Your name's what?
Baraith.
Oh, nice to meet you. I'm Wiley.
And you see there's a young girl who has sun-kissed, sort of sunburnt cheeks, the look of someone who works outside, much like you would. And she's got long blonde hair braided back, but it's quite similar. It's got like flecks of, you can kind of tell, like sea salt hair. Like it's got the spray of it braiding back. And she looks a bit more like a friendly but more common. And she's like, I'm one of Hufflepuff's. Are you too?
Yes.
Oh, wonderful. Nice to meet you. And then she smiles, and you settle in. So, the first few days are a shock for one of you more than others. How do you begin to reconcile what's happened to you, young Nicholas? What's the process? How does Nicholas react over the coming days?
At first with shock, but slowly, as the shock subsides and a new world of possibilities and, dare I say, opportunity...
We'll say weeks pass as well, so weeks go by.
Okay, all right. All of a sudden there's a whole new world at my fingertips. Literally, that wasn't before. You see, my family have been farmers generation one after t'other, and I was expecting to just pull my weight until I died, just like my dad always says is the way of the common man. But all of a sudden I'm not a common man. Well, I'm not as impressive as everyone else here, but I'm a lot more impressive than the people back home, and that's pretty exciting, I'd say. Really interested in the spells that, I don't know, make stuff happen.
Cool. So, during the time, Merlin, who's a Slytherin, has found himself at odds with some of the other... There's probably only about 3 or 4 students. It's almost at this early stage. You're all in one class, but you've almost been picked as more like apprentices and disciples of the initial people as the first year. So there's only about, 3 to 4... I'll say there's 12, so there'd be 3 students per teacher. So Merlin is at odds in that he is quite friendly and sort of muggle friendly and lovely in the Slytherin group, whereas the other 2 are more elitist. He's not of that cloth. But conversely, Morgan in Gryffindor is incredibly unstoppable. She's unflappable. That's the attitude you get. And she has that courageous spirit of just indomitability that is seen in Gryffindor, whereas Merlin can be dominated in an argument. He's very apt and skilled, but a little bit more subdued, friendly and quiet. Boraith seems like a lovely girl in Hufflepuff, and she's incredibly friendly and happy to chat with sort of anyone. But it seems that you guys perfectly got sorted with a potential friend.
Except for me.
Merlin.
I'm Ravenclaw.
Oh, you're Ravenclaw, of course. Yes, well, I don't have a Ravenclaw NPC, but I'm sure there's a boy.
It's all right. I'm sure I'll make a friend eventually.
Not along then.
Well, Merlin Merlin becomes your friend. So over the next coming weeks, you're actually the only Muggle that had no understanding of wizardry in this first group of students, and Merlin almost takes a soft spot to you. Like, he takes you under his wing, and even though you're bigger than him, he's like this small, like, little nerdy boy, but he's lovely, and he's trying to help you and teach you how to read and write in his spare time. But he's a Slytherin kid. Whereas, how do you feel about Morgan, Liam? You find out through this time, she's actually a princess.
Ooh. Of
a country called Avalon.
Ooh.
I think I'd
It's
be
an
a bit interested in her,
off
to
the
be
coast
honest.
of Britain.
Pretty young thing, fancy family. It's right up my alley.
So would you say you're almost
like Liam's
fancying
a
her a little
player.
bit?
Pardon?
Would you say you almost like fancy her a little bit, like that angle? Yeah,
just a tad.
So
Dragon Tamer charm.
but she is definitely this. I'm going to insinuate that this is very much seems like the one way where she's used to that kind of attention, and she uses it to her advantage. She is trying to become the little queen of the school, and is succeeding. Almost all the students that are currently unnamed are like, she's the best. She's literally a princess. She's a badass at magic, and she was chosen by Gryffindor, who is awesome, and that's just super cool. So she's kind of like pointing around the school.
I don't like her.
Neither do I, says Merlin. She's a little bit rude.
Look, I come from a place where I understand you've got your betters and you know your place, but I mean, we're all just kids. I get we're from different places, but there's nothing different about her than I, except that she was born with a silver spoon in her mouth, and I with I just use my hands.
Well, I'd be quiet around her with that. I hear she knows a charm that gets your tongue stuck to your mouth. You might not be able to speak too much afterwards. I can counterspell it. I can counter the jinx. It's fine. But anyway, don't worry too much about her. She's a bully.
Yeah, I don't need to worry about people. I want to be a good wizard. I've never had a chance to be good at something.
We'll get you there. We'll get you there, Nicholas.
Well, if you have any more practice things or homework for me, I can keep doing more in my spare time.
Cool. Well, he does help you in his spare time. You quickly find out that Merlin is a prodigy. He is probably the most skillful wizard of all the students, which is why Slytherin chose him. But weeks pass, and eventually we find ourselves in Charms class. You've managed to get your head around the basics of spellcasting to the point when you can now interact as a young little wizard or witch in Hogwarts. You are in one of the larger halls. There's a big glass window. Books have been moved in. There's books everywhere. A couple flutter to and fro between the shelves. And standing at the head of the class on this fine, sunny day is Rowena Ravenclaw.
I like her. She's
all right.
She picked me.
We've got to teach you something important today. We would consider this more than a basic class. However, in light of recent events, it must be a priority. The Muggles have recently begun adopting a sink or swim policy in their witch hunting. And thanks to a few clever witches, they've now decided that floating is a sign of guilt. So those floating charms won't be working anymore. And sinking, a sign of innocence. To that end, we should be teaching you a charm to allow you to survive underwater until the mob is satisfied.
Do we actually float?
If you cast a charm, you do. But that doesn't work anymore. They decided that floating means innocence. It seems like they're trying to kill us.
Yeah. I noticed that.
Anyway, with a simple charm, we can manage to breathe underwater. And with that, you can stay down there long enough for the mob to disperse. And then fish yourself out the other side of the river and go about your business. The
Well,
spell
how do you do it then?
is Coily Infinitus. Coily Infinitus. Practice now.
Kylie Infinitus.
Kylie Infinitus.
Come on, a bit of heart in it.
Kylie Infinitus.
And you go through the process for a few times, and eventually, Merlin, Kylie Infinitus, and this bubble of air, just this weird distortion, pops around his head and begins hovering around his head.
Wow, look,
And
everyone, Merlin's
I'm
done
going
it.
to get you to all make a magic check with the difficulty being 2. And this is a charm, so if any of you have charms, you get the extra dice. Anyone else, you can, for all your spell casting, I'm going to let you use all your attributes, so you just have 4 dice. Base 3 plus 1. Difficulty level is 2.
3.
With a pop and a cast. Liam,
Kylie Infinitus.
the bubble pops around Liam's head.
I got 2.
2 successes. What was that spell again?
Kylie Infinitus.
And a bubble bubbles around Wiley's neck.
Success.
2 successes. Nicholas, you've struggled up until now, but this is the first spell you've ever cast that worked.
It worked. Kylie Infinitus. I did it.
It's the meaning and the intent, Rowena says. Now, to test your aptitude, we've got a little test. Come with me. And she stands up and files you all out of the classroom. And you,
Don't you think it's a bit odd that if we do this and they think we drown, we show up the next day, it's fine? What is that?
Well, I think the idea is you don't show up the next day. I think you move on.
it depends. Either way, you see, the thing is, they're kind of stupid. So,
What do you mean?
If you didn't drown, you're innocent.
That is a bit dumb.
So if you walk up the next day, you obviously didn't drown, eh?
Yeah, that's true.
So you're innocent of being a witch.
Oh.
Clicked.
So, you get led to the edge of the Great Lake. Now, we're trying out a new system. At the end of the year, we're tallying these points, and the winner gets a feast of dessert. And the winner of this challenge will be the one who stays the longest underwater. It's terribly inconsistent accent that I'm doing here. It's
great.
Because I'm trying to do a girl and Scottish, and I can't do it. Anyway, so
I'm
to
immersed.
test your aptitude, you must stay underwater the longest in the lake.
I like a good competition.
Cool.
That's how I learnt to shoot.
And the winner gets 10 points for their house.
Okay.
Do we roll again?
So, you've cast the spell,
Oh.
but now you have to go out into the water.
Can we talk in the bubble?
Yeah, but it's distorted through the water, but you can talk in the bubble. Yeah. Cool.
So I can cast spells?
But does that mean you're using your breath?
For,
Are you holding your breath?
The
during
first
it?
thing that no, you're not holding your breath. You have a bubble
Yeah.
of air around your head. Is everyone walks up to the water, and some people have to recast their spells, the ones that were very apt. But one girl, Bariath, you see her, and she's standing, and she casts the spell, and then she deactivates it, and then she turns and gives you a little smile,
What
and
are you
she
doing?
dives into the water. And mid-air, her form shifts and changes, and she pulls into the shape of a Welsh puffin, and then splashes down into the water and swims down underwater. And
Is that against the rules?
Rowena claps and says, "Oh, an animagus! Oh, that's wonderful.
Is that...
You've got some competition then. Go on."
Oh,
Puffins can't hold their breath forever either.
I'm going to reset my bubble. I want to practice doing it again.
So you got to roll it again?
Yeah.
Okay.
Kylie Infinitus!
2 successes
Same.
again. But it still works. Cool. So you all go underwater?
That's 2. I've done 2 spells now. And I walk in the water. Oh, it's bloody cold.
It is bloody cold. And I'm going to get you to make a strength check with a challenge level for this is 2. Success for Liam with 2 successes. Success for Nicholas with 2 successes. And a success for Wiley. But 1 or 2 of the students, there is as soon as they get to like their waist, there's a and the bubble pops and they like splutter before they even begun, and Rowena just beckons them out and says, "You're out, you failed. The cold water made them splutter." So you descend. You reach your neckline.
Have I learned any jinxes yet?
1 or 2 sneaky ones from spellbooks.
I am not above cheating. I would like to cheat in some way.
Okay, who would you like to cheat against?
You bastard! Go on, do your worst.
I'd like you to make a sleight of hand check to discreetly cast the spell.
We're underwater,
I'm
yeah.
going to say something like,
Yeah, but there's other people
I'll
watching.
get you, plodder. Get it? Because it's like, plodder.
Can I Destiny?
You may, Destiny.
You
I
bastard.
should roll again, so that was the first one.
You bastard.
Cool. Second one. You'll like this.
Okay.
Cool.
Yep.
So, and now I'll get you to make a check. And what Jinxie? What are you planning to do? There's a bunch. Just you can make up something like minor.
Do anything to make their heads bigger?
Sure, yeah,
With
that'd be a bit obvious.
with the
though.
intention of their bubble bursting.
You would probably burst the bubble or something. Is probably more
burst
easy.
the bubble!
Yeah, that's
Burst
probably
the bubble!
more easy than like enlarging it and more and less obvious.
Yeah, okay, yeah, burst the bubble, burst the bubble.
Okay, I'm going to say popping the bubble is only going to be challenge level 2.
With a, was a jinx?
Jinx.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Just like a pop.
1, 2, 3.
Oof.
the bubble pops right as you get underwater. But I'm going to get you to make a destiny roll, Nicholas.
Okay.
One!
And with a rush and a splutter, the water slaps into your face, and you thought you were going to get a chance to quickly throw it a cut and get another shot, but you don't manage,
No.
and you just splutter, and Rowena beckons you out of the pool. In this moment, Merlin is watching, but seems to have just been like, oh, that's unfortunate underwater. But you turn to your other side, and you see Morgan looking at you, and she just smiles and nods at you.
I wink at her.
And you stay underwater. You're out, buddy.
Bugger.
Okay, so underwater, I'm going to get you guys to make another check. This one is going to be, I'm going to say a swim check. Just as you, because you have to go under the water. So we're seeing one of the biggest troubles with being underwater with the full
Staying
lungs
down.
of air is staying underwater. So I'm going to get you to all make a swim
It's
check.
lungs and a bubble
Yeah.
of air.
And I'm rolling for other students too. This isn't a, so the challenge level will be 2. Success. So that was
So Liam.
Merlin. Actually, no, that was Morgan.
Oh, Wiley can't do
Wiley
it.
fails.
You
and
have Destiny
pops
if you
up
want to
from
use it.
underwater. Merlin succeeds. Morgan succeeds. I'm going to give an advantage to. Okay. So Baraith is fine. There's a puffin like swimming around her and you being a little butt.
What does Wiley do? Does Wiley use?
Yeah. So you like are now floating up out of the water and you're getting close to the surface.
Yeah, I'll use it. Destiny.
use a point if you want.
Yeah, you can use a destiny point to to succeed in standard order, or you can just fail the check. It's up to you.
But then you can't use the destiny later, so it's up to you.
That's all right. I'll fail.
Okay, so
Yeah.
Wiley, you just like the spell succeeds, but you sort of float to the surface and then pop up, and Rowena's just like, get out, you fall out of the water.
Yeah.
And one by one, more students fail until there are 4. Baraith swimming around as a puffin, and you've also got Merlin, Morgan, and Liam, all underwater, representing 2 Slytherins and a Gryffindor. Slytherin will be proud. Suddenly, I'm gonna get you to make a perception check. Challenge level for this is again 2. These are basic things happening. You fail. You don't notice.
Okay.
Unless you want to use Destiny.
No.
You already used one on your prank, you bastard.
Yeah. failed, and our boy Merlin failed. Everyone failed to notice. All right, so I'm going to just say it is becoming harder and harder to maintain your composure in the cold. It's the air. Your spells are holding true, and you seem to have infinite air. But probably 20 minutes passes, and you guys have Rowena has just cast spells to remove the wet from your cold. But after that period of time underwater, you have become really chilly. So I'm going to get you all to make a strength check.
You all speaking to the three characters you're playing.
The two characters I'm playing, Merlin, Morgan, and Rob. So Merlin is not a strong boy, so he just has base 3, and he fails.
What's the challenge level?
Oh. Challenge level for this is going to be 2 again. Just keeping it 2. Liam succeeds.
Pretty
Smashes it.
Morgan also fails. And Morgan and Merlin pop to the surface. and Rowena beckons them out, leaving you alone. In this brief moment with Noah looking around and you're the last one underwater, what do you do?
I'm going to be glaring at the puffin.
Oh, the puffin's still there. Okay.
They've got to make the same check.
They do.
She's got
the
vents.
puffin.
She's insulated.
Yeah, the puffin doesn't have to make this check.
Oh,
They swim in the fridge.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Swimming around. I'm going to make a destiny roll for her to see how long her puffin's natural underwater, probably 10 or 20 minutes is probably as long as they can hold out. I don't know. So, yeah.
Is that good for me or bad for me?
That's good for you. That's for her. Yes. And after a while, the puffin
That was a 7.
swims over to you, and then she nods her head and pops out of the water and then jumps to the riverbank and transforms back into Boraith. And then, underwater, you're alone.
I would like to stay down as long as possible as a show of strength.
Cool. Shortly after, in front of you, you see a dark shape move in the water. And it moves
Can
again.
I do a perception?
Make a perception check. Challenge level 1. It's gotten closer. You succeed.
What is it?
There is a...
Hinky punk.
Make a intelligence... You don't have any kind of wizardry, so intelligence. Oh yeah, I'm going to say yeah, but you didn't put points in vocation, animals, or anything, did you?
No, but I'm learning the trade with my
Yeah,
parents.
so you're still just an intelligence check. You can make the check. Challenge level is going to be a 3 though.
What was your attribute spent in, Jeremy?
Because you could have put. I realised.
Fuck it, destiny.
I realised that you
Actually, no.
You should have. Or could have put your points into like things like magical creatures,
I
and
should've.
vocation stuff. But anyway, doesn't matter.
No, challenge level. I got a 2.
So you don't recognize it, but you do recognize it looks like a underwater horse with a long flowing tail that's floating towards you. But you don't know what that is. Never encountered one before. It sort of floats up closer to you. And then it
Do I know?
shoulders its back towards you. Beckons.
Do I know any aggressive jinxes?
Not that you feel confident casting underwater at this stage of your scholarly pursuit.
You play that really enticingly. I was like this close to jumping on your back.
Can I just use like a blast from like a generic blast of power from my wand?
You're aggressively attacking this creature?
Yeah, I want to try and scare it off.
Okay. Make a jinx check. Underwater, I'll say it's probably challenge level 3. Your wand splutters and nothing occurs. And it still sort of beckons with its back for you to ride it.
I ignore it.
Cool.
I don't want to do anything that'll risk my bubble popping.
And then the Kelpie swims away. And shortly after, you feel a motive force pull you up out of the water. And Rowena, with her wand, beckons this globule of water that you're floating in. So you're in a ball of water to the shore, and then just drops it on the sand, like on the bank, and it goes whoosh, on the ground.
Superhero land.
Make an acrobatics check. Challenge
Athletics.
Sure. Oh no, falling from the sky and landing is probably acrobatics. Sorry. Say it's acrobatics.
Wait, acrobatics.
Challenge level 2.
3.
You're the bad boy.
You skillfully land.
You're like such the bad boy.
And Morgan smiles at you again. She seems to be slowly getting more impressed by you.
What's got it going on? I don't know what to tell you. It's an impressive specimen.
10 points for Slytherin. Good work.
You cheated.
Thank you.
And you all head on in, warmed by magic and fueled by your education in the class of charms.
A lot along. I'm going to keep saying that to you.
3 months pass, and you may all spend a skill point, however you'd like.
I love charms. I want to learn more charms. Plus, it's Ravenclaw, so like, you know, I'm the Ravenclaw teacher's pet.
Can we pick a new one of the spell groups?
Yep, you've been studying.
Right. I've got 2 points in charms.
You put another point in charm. What did you do? What did you do?
I haven't picked yet.
What did you do?
Perception.
It's cool.
Counter a spell. It would have been a lot easier to cheat if I could just get rid of his spell.
Fair enough.
You're upset. Ever since character creation, Rob's been obsessed with the idea of getting counterspell.
I have. That's true. I just think it's a useful talent.
You can see
They
our
haven't been
character
taught how
creation
to do it.
process if you're a patron, by the way.
It's true.
We
Extended character creation.
Yeah,
process.
we record like an hour of figuring it out. That's all there for
Was
you.
it really an hour?
Mostly of us fucking around with accents.
Okay, yeah, that's
We
true.
just couldn't find out what it was like to be really.
There was like this much like character creation. It's just like,
So much
"Now what
Neil's
sort of
canon."
voice do I want to speak in for this one? I chose that one. All right.
So 3 months have passed, and you are entering beast slaying, which is one of the classes. Things are a bit different back in the Middle Ages. It's not care. It's not what care of magical creatures. It's beast slaying. Hello, everyone. Welcome to class. You've learnt the basics, some defensive hexes and charms to keep away foul creatures seek to destroy us. But you are all fledglings in this world, and you lack the metal to carry wand and sword, he says, drawing the sword with a flourish. But there has been an intruder upon the grounds of Hogwarts, and with you all, I shall make a lesson of slaying it. Together. Are you ready for your test, students?
What's the intruder, sir?
Bring it on.
He hasn't even said what it is yet.
Does it matter?
I suppose he does do dragons.
It is a... And his wand flicks out, and he traces this like magical shape in the air that draws the picture as he follows it around. And you see this horrible, beastly hyena, fused with a wolf with a long tail, but hulking and aggressive looking. He says, "It's a crocotta. One of the foulest combinations of the savannah hyena combined with the cunning and intellect of a wolf. They're a horrible beast. They lure and kill non-magic users everywhere.
Is that such a bad thing?
They kill us too, boy."
I'd like to see it try.
I really hope this guy doesn't get a job in politics.
With confidence like that, perhaps you could have been a Gryffindor, but it is misplaced. One of these beasts would tear any of you asunder. That is why I will be with you, to protect you.
So what do we do, sir?
Well, part of your learning has been the tracking of these beasts and how, working together, your jinxes and charms should be able to subdue it. I will be there to protect and guide you, but mostly, this little test will be on your capabilities to apply everything you've learned in beast slaying up to this point.
Do we get a sword?
We'll leave the sword wielding to me. Oh, I've discussed with Rowena, and we agree that swordplay shall be taught from the 3rd year onwards, as an elective.
Do I know by this point how many years there are at Hogwarts?
No, they don't even know.
Like,
But you're 11, so
and
you
I
assume there'd be
say,
a few.
third year. How many years are there?
Well,
For you, it'd be an extra 2 or 3 for sure.
Perhaps 6 or 7. But were we to spin a narrative of your time here, it may end up being 8. Although that would be 7 years.
The last year will be in 2 parts.
Depending on how stressful and dreary things become.
Hey, so the thing you need to know about dangerous beasts is how it can kill you. So what has this Dracockle got on us?
Well, it is around 300. Wait. It's around 300 stone. That's pretty heavy.
Whoa!
Right? It's like a ton.
That's a bit more,
Okay.
I'm thinking.
Is it? How much is a stone to a kilogram? Medieval.
Just a bit translate.
Say
it in post.
300 stone.
We'll fix it in post.
I want it to be like 500 kilos.
Jeremy's
600
looking at me like, am I fixing this in post? No, that's the joke. Anyway.
Okay. Pure muscle.
It's just under 2 tons.
Okay, no. 50 stone. What's that?
We're stuck on stones.
It's important! The viewers agree!
320 kilograms.
70 stone.
How
70
many sticks
stone.
does it weigh?
Wait, what do you want it to weigh in kilograms?
Shut up. It's 70
What do you
stone.
want it to weigh in kilograms?
70
And I'll just tell you.
stone made of pure muscle with razor sharp teeth and claws and tear a man in twain in a single bite.
Hey, does it breathe fire or anything?
No. But you're the dragon tamer boy, yes?
Aye.
They lack the willingness that a dragon has to commune with humans. They wish only to eat us. So,
Any
take
danger
care.
in the tail?
No more than a wolf.
Aye. Claws, teeth. Got it. Let's get this thing.
I let Liam take the front and I sink to the back.
Yeah, chill back.
Yeah.
Merlin leans in to you and says, "Do you think you might like to learn swordsmanship? I quite like the idea of being like a knight of the tales in a court of wizards and knights. Oh, that would be my dream, I guess."
That'd be grand. I just think swords are shiny. And I've never had a shiny thing before. What about you, Wiley?
Oh,
You ever held a sword?
not a sword, but I have shiny potions back at home.
They're not made of metal, though. Metal's extra shiny.
Oh, yes.
Swords. Years. This is a great place.
What about an axe?
Aside from the animals that tear you apart and the teachers that set you out to fight them, it's a little debatable. Anyway,
My cousin's friend's dad is a knight, and he's a wizard. I hope to meet him
I
after
bet
I've
you
done
could
my
probably
studies.
be both. There's nothing saying you can't.
Cadogan's his name. I tell you what, after we've spent some time here, I'm gonna strike up a conversation. Maybe you could teach me some swordplay.
Can you teach me the swordplay he teaches you?
Yes, wonderful idea.
Yes!
Love it, Nicholas.
Have you got a sword?
No, but maybe I could magically create one.
You can magically create a sword?
Well, not yet, but one day.
Let's make that our project. I want to make a sword.
That's
They're
amazing.
shiny and sharp. Oh, they're all ahead of a quick catch up.
This conversation happens while you're heading out into the ground.
Okay.
So, you head out into the grounds, and you are tasked with finding the beast. There is a sickening roar in the distance. Far unlike the yelping laugh of a hyena, it's a foul, guttural roar, horrifying. It chills you to the bone.
It's a cross between a wolf and a hyena, yeah?
Yeah,
Okay.
visually, but it's a medieval beast of myth, so it's, you know.
I feel like at this point,
like.
could we spell up a little bit? Could we just like grab a few that we sort of know what they do, or do we just
Just make it.
make
Make it up, because
Okay.
if you guys haven't done your research into Harry Potter,
That's on you.
Oh,
That's on you.
No, I'm going in this blind for Nicholas's sake. I'm trying to be authentic.
So you can use real spells. You can also just make up stuff. You've been here for 3 and a bit months.
Expelliarmus is charms, right?
Expelliarmus doesn't exist yet.
Oh, what?
Yeah,
Really?
correct.
How do you know that?
Because I have done a lot of research for this, and Expelliarmus was made a while later.
All right, I'll use the precursor to Expelliarmus.
There isn't one.
Did you say expel your armus?
The precursor is the spell that removes the fingers.
Expelliarmus!
That's the precursor to Expelliarmus.
I told
It's the
you.
jinx that makes their fingers disappear, and then one just falls out of their hand.
I told you, phalangio disapperia.
Yeah, Phalangio Disapperio is the precursor to Expelliarmus.
All right, done. I'll
Cool.
write that down.
Okay, so how are you going to track the beast using your knowledge you've learnt in the beast class that you 3 people have never been to, but your characters have been studying for months?
Hey, well, the first thing you do when you're looking for a beastie is either try and draw it to you by using a bait,
What do you have in mind?
or look for tracks.
I didn't go to school
I was
to be
thinking-
bait, says Barai.
Hey, I wasn't looking at you.
I was thinking traps.
Doesn't stop you baiting everyone else. I mumbled under my breath.
I suppose you're real clever.
Perhaps the muggle could be bait, says Morgan, looking at you.
I ain't a muggle. I'm a son of a muggle. That's different.
Yes, well, you smell like one.
And mud.
At least I don't smell like I'm up my own arse. I say to the
Hey, you smell
bloody
like you've been up someone
princess.
else's.
3 successes. I'm going to let you to do a spell casting like counter roll to try and avoid it. But she casts a spell upon you. The lip lock one. What was that called? You knew it.
Oh, fuck. No, it's gone.
It's fine. It's so important that we need to stop
Yeah.
play for it.
Yeah.
So make a roll to see if you can dodge out of this just with your spell casting.
Just any spellcasting school of magic. This is me.
No, you don't. We'll say this is a counter spell school, so you're not trained in it. So just the 3, just your base set. Actually, and she'd have an extra dice now.
Challenge level 4.
No, yeah, well, it is because that's what she rolled. She got 4 successes.
Well,
on
if I
6
get
dice.
3 successes, I'm using Destiny. I get 2 successes.
Well, you should have had one more because I said your attributes count for spell casting.
Oh, yeah. Yes! And I use a Destiny point.
And you match, which means the victory goes to the person.
What? Oh, I don't use
Don't
the
use the
Destiny
destiny.
point.
Yeah, because she'd win in the case of the tie.
What does she do?
So she spouts out Langlock at you, and your tongue is now affixed to the roof of your mouth.
God damn it.
Hey, he sounds better than he did before.
Wonderful.
I'm so mean to you. I'm so sorry.
Eloquence from you.
You're all a bunch of assholes.
Now you'll watch your tongue around nobility. Know your betters, peasant. And then she walks astride and she says, "Come, Liam." And she beckons you.
Now, out of character, the great thing about playing someone who's very slow-witted is when I, as a player, can't think of any great retorts, it's in character.
Yeah.
So I'm just like...
Is there any way to reverse it?
Oh yeah, there's a little counter charm or something.
Like-
you can attempt to roll it.
Yeah.
Yeah. You need to beat her original roll
Oh golly.
of 4. What are you spellcasting in? Transmogrification is transforming something into something else, so that won't help you. So you
Yeah.
just have 4 dice.
Look, doing a northern accent was hard enough before.
just make mumbly noises. 3 successes.
No,
No.
I got me going, look me losing it now.
So how are we looking for this then? Says Morgan, ignoring you, fuming with your tongue stuck to the roof of your
I
mouth.
was thinking-
Godric is like strutting.
Can I cast spells with my tongue stuck to the room of
You
my
can
mouth?
attempt to.
I'm going to attempt
What do
to.
you attempt to cast?
I'm going to attempt... Okay, give me the synopsis of charms again.
Changing the properties of something is a charm.
Okay.
So what would you like to do?
Turning a...
Shoes to lead.
Yeah, I was going to go something along those
Heavy
lines.
shoes.
Is she wearing any headpieces?
No. Actually, a witch's hat seems very appropriate for her.
Well, she's all up on her looks, I want to turn her hat into glue.
Okay. I'd like you to roleplay that.
I just
Roll a destiny roll.
say out of the side of my
No spellcasting check for this.
13.
13. There's a brief eye as a couple of the students turn back to you and you're like, just like jutting your wand out at her, and absolutely nothing is happening. And at this stage, Merlin comes over to you. And he touches his wand to your throat and your tongue unconnects and he says, I let it go. And puts his hand on the top of your wand to put it down.
All right.
Some people just are rotten to the core. And I'm starting to think that Morgan isn't very nice.
That Liam's got it out. Oh, God.
Well, perhaps he's just got a bad influence. Maybe we, convince him to be better.
That sounds like a lot of work and patience. I'd rather...
Meanwhile, at your left to actually look, is anyone going to actually look for this thing? Make a survival check.
Survival.
Or tell me what you were going to do, actually.
I wanted to look for tracks.
That's exactly what I thought you... Yeah, cool. Make a survival check.
Wyler's the only one being useful.
You succeed, and you find a path of tracks that lead across the hills and start to wind towards the forest.
I call on...
the group.
Yeah.
And they start following you. Good work, Wiley. Wonderful job finding those
Thank
tracks.
you.
That's the way to go about it. Not like these people. Tomfoolery back here.
Seeing him get praise, can I also examine the tracks to try and get more information out of it based on like the size of it?
Yes, but as you go down to do so and start to look for it, there's a soft voice behind you. Liam?
Hi?
Might I have a word with you?
About what? I'm a
Well,
bit busy.
I just wonder why you're insisting on being so nasty to Nicholas.
I just think he shouldn't be here.
Why is that? He's got every right to be here.
Hey, he's not very good though.
Well, it's true that he's a bit rough around the edges, but he's better than a lot of the street peddling wizards I've seen around.
Hey, but I got 4 brothers that are better than him and could be doing a better job than him. They deserve a place here too.
Well, are you questioning Professor Ravenclaw's choice?
Hey, a little bit. Yeah.
Well, I think perhaps you should look inside yourself and maybe think that he was chosen for a reason. And he's obviously got something special.
Hey, he's special, all right.
You've got to watch out, Liam. That kind of attitude will see you make no friends at all. Not the good sort.
Whatever.
He turns tail, clutching his book, and toddles off behind Nicholas.
Can I continue doing my check?
Yes, you can now make your check.
What's my challenge?
Survival check.
What's my challenge level for more information?
Probably more than 2.
1,
3.
2, 3.
Cool.
You're playing your character beautifully. It's
I
great.
feel so mean.
No, it's fantastic. You need the Draco. You got to have it's
the
great.
Draco was meant to be Morgan, but I guess we have 2 Dracos.
Yeah. Well, they're sort of like
it's
they
a
work
power couple.
Yeah, it's great.
So you follow the tracks
They need
a bit
a couple
longer, and
then.
after a while you spot a mauled remains of what looks to be a rabbit that Wiley has missed out on spotting.
Hey, that thing didn't have a good time, did it?
And Gryffindor leans in. Oh boy, what have you found there?
It's some more remains of some rabbit or something.
That's been torn to shreds.
Big teeth.
I tell you, that's why we worry about these things. Good spot. And that looks like a fresh kill. Very good find. The crocotta can't be too far away.
Crocotta?
Crocotta.
Crocotta.
Shall we head on?
Lead the way, sir.
Oh, you're leading.
Aye.
I'm just keeping you safe. This is your test.
So on we go then. Riley, keep up.
So Wiley and Liam are leading the group, looking along the path. And the path winds through the edge of the dark forest. The unnatural dark of the canopy creeps in much faster than any other forest, and soon you find yourselves in an area that is almost difficult to see. You can only see the little gaps.
Lumos.
Make a spellcasting check. So 4.
4. What's the challenge level?
For Lumos, probably 2.
Nailed it.
Nailed it. And there's a after.
Want to wipe that smug grin off your face?
Hey, get in close if you want to see. Morgan, I got a spot for you right here.
There's a quick chattering of Lumos, Lumos, Lumos from other students. And
Bloody copycats.
Lumos. I can't do it.
Was that 4?
Okay, can we just appreciate how good the rolls have been?
It's fantastic. Lumos. Lumos. Lumos?
Lumos.
Lumos. You can't do it either. Is it Lumos or Lumos?
I don't know.
Or Lumos?
did you guys succeed?
No, both of us failed. So, like, is it how you hold it? I forget if that was it the ring finger out or Lumos.
Let's just stick near Merlin for now.
All right.
I kind of head back towards Merlin.
One day I won't have to lean on Merlin to get a spell done. I mean, he's very talented, but I just want to be competent one day, you know?
It just takes time.
Merlin, who sees all this bit of Pompey aptitude and spellcasting, throws out a spell, and he says, he flicks open his book, and then he's like, Lumus Sphericus. And he just like gently taps his wand, and it's almost like bubbles just start to float out of the top of his wand, and then they ignite in blue flame and just like float out from him, and he beckons his wand and they just like float up and illuminate the whole area. Everyone else has got their little wand tips looming, and he says
real
it
clever.
quietly enough that no one else heard the incantation.
But it stemmed from him.
Yeah, you know it stemmed from him.
I suppose you're real clever then. You know wolves are afraid of light. It's probably just ran off now that it's seen all this.
Well, isn't that what we want?
Hey, we're hunting the damn thing. How the hell do you think we're going to find it if you've scared it off?
I'm not worried about that.
I look for a very sharp stick.
You find one.
I want to turn it to metal. Like a sword.
Okay, challenge level is going to be 4. But it is transfiguration.
Yeah. Oh, is it? I thought it was charms.
Yeah,
changing the
an object's
property.
No,
Charms.
that would be changing its type, literally changing the object.
Okay, well,
so making a stick
Hard.
I make
light
it.
or heavy is charm. Making a stick
What
into
about
something
strong
else. Stronger, yeah. You could
Hardness.
make it harder, yeah.
and sharper?
Sure.
Yeah, doing
Go
that.
for it. Challenge level is still 4.
Stickiest, Maximus, sharpiest, heaviest.
Oh, God.
It doesn't work.
I use a destiny point.
Okay, you have a sharp stick with properties similar to that of like a hot iron poker for a fire.
I'm a really strong, sharp stick.
Can I attempt to make it metal?
Then we're getting very bogged down.
No, this is
Sure, you can
important.
attempt to
Trust
make
me,
it
this will pay dividends.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, it's fine.
You know what I'm
Challenge
going
level
for,
4.
don't you?
This is a tough one for you.
I
in the
love
first
the
years.
idea.
It's like,
Here, let me try.
it's like sword play.
Stickiest metallus.
He got it.
It
Shoom.
turns to metal.
It's like a sword. Here, let me do one for you. And you pick up a stick, and I go to...
Make perception checks, everyone. Challenge level 2.
Oh, I love it.
No.
Perception.
I'm just going to say, in roleplay, I'm too busy checking out Morgan.
No.
My 11-year-old
I
compatriot.
failed perception.
You're also...
Wiley smashes it.
Wiley smashes it. You look ahead and a dark figure moves through the trees. The only other person who seemed to notice it was Godric himself, who draws his sword at the ready. And then...
And I
through the
pull out a
clearing-
sharp metal stick.
You don't even notice, because you failed your perception roll. And through the clearing at the head, there is more movement. Godric steps forward, and a shape, tall and with cloven hooves, 4 legs, but the upper body of a man, steps out of the woods. Oi, what are you doing in my woods? He says, and Godric says, oh, it's just one of you. We're tracking a beast. We're tracking a crocotta. I like your pretty lights. He gestures to the group. What's a bunch of fledglings doing in a dangerous place like this?
What are you calling a fledgling, mate?
You, little boy. And he prances over to you, standing massive above you.
I lock eyes.
He's got like a longbow over his back and like a sword at his side. You lock eyes. He's going to intimidate you, or attempt to.
Mate, I stare down dragons.
You're still a little boy. You might think you stare
I'm
down
cocky.
dragons.
I am cocky. I wrote it in a character
You
description.
work with your family in the family business of, you have the safety
Eat
net
three.
of the people you're
What am I
with.
doing?
You are face to face with someone right
I'm
now.
going to say probably just a stat.
Beat
What
it.
can you beat it with?
I mean, deceiving him that I'm not intimidated,
Yeah.
or persuasion that I'm not intimidated.
I'd say
Persuasion.
persuasion.
2, 3.
You match it. Okay, so you're both like standing off at each other, and he looks down. Have you no respect, boy? You're in my woods.
Aye.
Godric is standing at the ready. All the students are like scared. This is kind of terrifying. Aye, you've got no respect.
Aye, I'm in your woods, but shouldn't you be nice to someone in your house? Your home.
Not if they're uninvited.
Hey, as far as I see it, we're doing you a favour by hunting this thing.
Destiny roll. Centaurs aren't very nice. 15.
I was lucky.
Maybe, boy. And then he picks you up by the scruff off the ground. And he's just like, maybe you are. And maybe you're a bit big for your britches. Little
I
wizard.
don't even know what they are. You're not wearing pants.
Oh.
Godric, he says, looking. He clearly knows him, and he's like, this one's impertinence doesn't go unnoticed. Indeed. Indeed. You're right.
I like say off to the side, make an example out of him.
Rowan! Do you know anything? Rowan, do you know anything of the Crocata? Maybe I do, maybe I don't. Liam,
Aye.
show some respect. 10 points from Slytherin. 10 points from Slytherin. Yeah, you are Slytherin. I keep forgetting because I've put some people in weird houses. 10 points from Slytherin. And there's like a laugh from Morgan, who's happy as a Gryffindor. Cockiness are not the best features of your father house. Try to keep a lid on it when around noble creatures. And Rowan bows his head and drops. He doesn't put you down, he just drops you into the dirt. And then he says,
Can I superhero land again?
no, you just get dropped. You're an 11-year-old kid. You're not the Mary Sue. And a couple of the kids laugh at you for getting scolded the way they do. They quickly turn on who's popular.
I still.
I'm just opting in, and the kids that laugh at him.
Yeah.
It went that way.
Don't like
the
Liam.
beast that you seek. And he points. And the group journeys on, and he recedes back into the woods. And after a period of time, you hear the snarling howls of a foul beast just over the edge and in a clearing. What are you waiting for? Who goes first?
I'm cocky. I'm straight in.
Cool.
And at this point, I'm like, well, I'm not going to let him get all the credit again. I've got a sharp metal stick. And I
You bound
run in with it.
over the ledge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You staying back or going with him?
Yeah. I'll follow.
Merlin keeps at your side, but the other students hang back a little bit. And you crest the rise, and looking down in front of you, you see a strange beast. It has unusually long legs. It has almost a porcupine-like ball of fur for its main body, a thick, bushy coat, and a snout that's a bit elongated, but it has a short tail that wags. It's unnaturally tall, like 50% taller than a regular dog would stand on these long, legs, and it looks towards you. Snarls for a brief moment.
Oh my.
Who am I?
I Liam to sort of see what direction he's going and go in the opposite direction to try and corner it. Mm-hmm. So he's holding it at bay with a wand, or?
Yeah, I'm pointing my wand at it, ready to see if it reacts to us.
It's just looking at you all.
Hey, sir, is that the beastie we're hunting?
Aye, sir, is that the beastie we're hunting? Says the dog.
What was that?
What was that?
It's
Mouth moving and emulating your words.
Beast! Cease this tomfoolery at once!
This tomfoolery at once!
Does Gryffindor say anything?
They all crest the hill now.
I poke it with a...
Says Gryffindor. No, what is that then? And you guys don't know. I'm going to see if Merlin and Morgan know.
Would I know?
No.
Oof, that was a good roll.
Rare.
Was that Merlin?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Morgan.
of course it was. Morgan
doesn't know either. You need 4 successes and you don't have a vocation relevant to it.
Wouldn't it be base 3 in intellect?
Oh, yeah, you can chance it.
Yeah.
He should have actually had 1 more dice, but it doesn't matter.
No.
Cool. You also don't know. Merlin says, sir, that one would...
3 dice.
That one, that's a Gatulian dog. A mimic dog. And meanwhile, that's a Gatulian dog. A mimic dog, says the dog. They're incredibly rare and sought after. Friendly and loyal and, well, fantastic at mimicking things. Godric says, wonderful! It wasn't a crocotter at all. I would never set students against such a beast. But well played, well tracked, and well found.
I could have taken it.
Friendly. You see that rabbit
with
back
my
there?
Steel stick.
Thing's not friendly to the rabbit.
Well, that was a plant. But you found it well. We're not going to set you first years out tracking real beasts. What do you take us for? But excellent job, everyone. I hope you've learned a valuable lesson and, hopefully, we've met a new friend. And with that, the Gatulian dog found on the grounds is taken into Hogwarts. And the first, one of the first sort of mascotty, weird, whimsical things for the early years is the mimic dog, which lives in the Great Hall. It doesn't always mimic everything you guys say, but it is smart and does tricks and is a cool, loyal dog, although it looks really weird.
I still think I could have taken it. I turn to Merlin on the walk back and say, I've got this though. We could turn this into a sword. I say, holding a metal stick. It's sharp on the end. It's just got to be straight and sharp on the sides.
Well, yes, we can refine its form, of course.
And learn swordplay together. I love magic. That was
Critical
bad.
fail.
That was a very
That's
bad
critical
roll. That was a
fail.
critical fail roll.
Gryffindor completely doesn't notice that you've made a sword and lets you keep it.
Yes!
That's amazing.
So you just have this contraband
That's
weapon.
such a good roll to
that you're
fail.
supposed to not have. But you just now have a sword.
And the first contraband of Hogwarts.
And over the next month, you and Merlin refine its shape. And Wiley, if he wants to be involved in this
Yeah,
gang.
definitely.
So you're starting to befriend Merlin and Nicholas? Cool. With this sort of outcasts group. And yeah, you make it into a rough-hewn sword.
Love it. All right.
Made of wood, but then turned to metal.
The adventure will continue in part 2.
Sure.
Because we got more Hogwarts to explore, people.
We're having a great time. I don't know about you guys, but this is bloody
This
funny.
is probably one of the funnest one-shot settings I've experienced.
Okay, so
But we are in medieval
we
Europe.
pick up our journey with our wizards and witches learning at the Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry, still in its burgeoning days. There are but 12 students in this first class, and they are taught amongst the 4 teachers. Slowly, though, legend is stirring of the great endeavours being undertaken at this school.
I'm keeping track of the house points, by the way. So far, we have -10
No.
to Slytherin.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
0.
Net 0.
-10.
0.
He says 10 points
He
from
earned 10
Slytherin.
points.
Yeah, you got
He
a
earned
ground to
10
make
last
up.
I earned 10 points, and then I lost 10 points.
Oh, did you?
I'm on 0.
Oh, did you
Remember
earn
the
10?
breathing-
Where are you
the
sitting?
breathing challenge?
0.
Oh. They're still
Actually-
building the point system.
What houses are you in?
Slytherin.
Ravenclaw.
Hufflepuff.
Where's the green dice?
Yeah.
Okay. What are you, Griffin?
Ravenclaw.
And you can, I'm Gryffindor, and you can just be Hufflepuff can be blue. Everyone roll the dice.
All right. House point roll.
House point roll.
14.
So 140. So 140
Yes!
for Ravenclaw.
Haha.
Slytherin is 120, tied with Gryffindor at 120, and 60 points for Hufflepuff, who have been spending too much of their time aiding the other students and not excelling academically.
What was Hufflepuff again?
60.
Okay, cool. It's good. This is important. This will come.
Yeah, I should have done. Now it's mid-year. That's why we've done that mid-year.
Cool.
Makes sense.
I like it. Cool.
Because there's obviously other students, and you've been going to many classes.
All right.
So the race is on, but Ravenclaw is winning.
Are you gonna
And
give
I
us
have a
chance
sword.
to-
So even though Liam's the obnoxious poop head,
And Dumbledore isn't in charge now.
Who's really winning, Liam? Who's really winning? Oh, he looks. Oh, you all right, Liam? You gonna be all right? You got a sword. Wipe that little sad look off your face.
You're going to enjoy going home to your family that think you're a wizard. Try and drown you in a lake. You're still going to love your dad then when he ties a rock to your ankles.
Oh my
He's got a point.
God!
Plod along.
I love it so much.
It's all right because Marley, who's one of the Ravenclaw students, has earned like half your combined points out of the three of you. She's a bit of a prodigy. But anyway, moving on. So,
Who is Molly?
Molly's just a student in one of your
Okay.
three Ravenclaws. She's just a rather tall for her age girl, one of those girls who sort of developed a bit faster than the rest, so she's kind of like a foot taller than all the other students, and she's quite quiet, and she just sits back and doesn't say much, but learns
Little
and studies.
11-year-old Nicholas says to Wiley, Molly's got legs for days.
And it's
They're
that,
quiet giant.
it's that like she's just quiet, and then sometimes it's just the hand goes bolt upright, and then she's just like the exact answer of what they
Yeah.
need. They're like 5 points to Ravenclaw. She's the archetypal, very bookwormy, smart.
Cool.
But no one picks on her because she's like bigger than ever. Just just like
But
shoving
you know, just
into
shout in her ear, you can hear an echo. There's a lot in there, but there's a lot of space, but there's nothing in there. Get it?
The
get
problem is I was trying to think of retorts, but
she's
Nicholas is a
the thing
bit
is, though,
slow.
It's like Liam's got a few people to pick on, but Molly's probably not one of them because she's from a prestigious wizarding family.
Oh, she's good.
Yeah, she's a
Looking good,
quiet
Molly.
but very studious. And also, wizarding aside, she's got the temperament that you're quite sure that if you picked on her, she would punch you in the face, but not like with any aggression, just kind of like, and you just like complete rationality, like I will remove you from my presence with this fist.
Who's the third person? So there's Bryeth.
I haven't named one. There's room, so we're going to leave room to grow.
Yeah.
In case we do more years, we've then got room to add students and
I like
patron
it.
character, for
Cool.
example.
I like more years.
Imagine how much of a dick I'm going to be when there's first years I get to bully.
You're having fun.
Just
aren't you?
wait until Liam goes through puberty. Oh my god.
He's already big for his size. You're like, screw the wand. Should punch you in the face.
Love it.
Okay,
That's
so
when you lose your fingers.
Oh, has Quidditch been invented?
no,
I feel like it wouldn't have.
Have we ridden broomsticks yet?
no, you're not even being taught flying. You're only first years. But our next class, it's like a month later. You have been invited to the Herbology class, the greenhouse. And Helga Hufflepuff informs you all that there has been a potential new discovery that she's spotted out in the dark woods. And it's still a realm of magic, and there's a lot of discoveries to be made. But she would like to take you all to harvest a sample of this mythical plant that seems to be one of a kind, or at least extremely rare, so that you can take that sample back and study it in herbology. So you all head out towards the dark woods. It is a dreary winter's day. Summer's day. Mid-year. Northern Hemisphere.
They go home for Christmas.
Oh, yeah.
is winter.
Winter.
Is that the end of their school
No,
year?
it's
though?
mid-year.
Mid-year.
No, that's
It's
their
mid-year.
mid-year.
Yeah, so it's winter.
Oh, their school year starts.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
says
So
winter.
mid-year, it's winter. It's a dreary winter's day, and we don't yet... Actually, we're going to go home for Christmas after this.
Okay.
This is just before the Christmas break.
Ooh.
And you're being taken in. Actually, I'm going to change my mind. It's just after winter's break.
So we've
We'll go back. We'll do a little... Fuck, it doesn't matter. It's before winter's break. I'm like, it doesn't make sense, but it's a magical plant. I'm like, it's got a flower,
Cool.
it's blooming, but why would it bloom full winter? But it's a magical plant, it doesn't matter.
Okay,
So, moving along. You're heading down into the dark forest.
Wait, there's something a narrator doesn't know about this comprehensive world that you've put us
I
in?
didn't write. Look, if I did write it, I think it would be a little less transphobic.
You should know
what's-
about when plants grow in the northern hemisphere just before Christmas. No, you
You're
did
right.
great.
but altered for a magical world.
You and
a special
on your way down there into the dark woods, she says that you must harvest a non-blooming flower from the plant. We can't have a blooming one. Must be sealed. You head down to a secluded grove. Flittering motes of magical light sparkle around this grove. There is a pond, almost silvered surface of a pond, and you swear you spot the flitting of a sprite with its little wings before it darts out of sight. There is this massive, entwined vine-like structure, almost like a passion fruit vines, like vines everywhere, completely surrounding the grove and growing into it with lily pads, giant lily pads, at least 1 meter across and thick, floating across on the top of the pond. But it also stretches up across the canopies of the tree. So overall, it's like about 30 meters high in this big grove, almost like an egg, like you're inside an egg, but there's an entrance. But it's all thick vines. There are big blooming flowers, and the magical little motes are floating out of the flowers all over. And right in the center, across from you, is one flower that has not bloomed, right on the far side, across the pond, across the lily pads.
Kylie Infinitus. I'll make a bubble on my head.
Okay.
The water's going to be quite cold at this time.
Make a bubble on my
pops
head.
on your head.
Like, I've done it once, I can do it again. Keep an eye on that bastard. I look over my shoulder, trying to not get Liam's attention, because anyway, I just try and surreptitiously just like slide into the water.
So you're walking ahead? Yeah. You're all... Oh, well, are you trying to distract him? What's the go?
Yeah, can I, like...
Won't be obvious at all. Go on.
Oh, he's already slipped into the
No,
water,
he's
hasn't he?
heading in that
Oh, he's
direction.
heading in that direction. Okay.
He just said,
Well,
"Just don't let Liam mess with me," basically.
Yeah.
so I'm... Are there many people around me? Will
There's
it be obvious?
all of them.
Will it be obvious if I try and cast a spell? Can I try?
You can always try and be sneaky with a bit of sleight of hand.
Well, I'm gonna transform. What are the things floating in the air?
In the little just specks of light, like fireflies, but they're like blue magical energy.
Okay. Can I try and transform one into like a little floating thing that I can jump onto or something?
It's probably a little speck is a bit small.
Oh, okay.
Go
so-
lily pad. Make it a hoverboard.
yeah, can I make a lily pad a hoverboard?
Like hover in the air. Well, there's a spell for that.
Yeah, and I'm gonna.
Do it subtly though, like people will notice if you do that.
Yeah, well, I'm distracting.
Okay,
Yeah.
so what's
I'm
the
gonna-
incantation to make something levitate?
I kind of got that one, yeah. Wingardium Leviosa!
Make a check. It's a fairly large object for your skill level, so I'm going to say it's challenge level 3.
Go Wiley.
2 successes.
come
I'm
on,
gonna
you
use
can-
Destiny point.
Yeah.
3 successes. The lily pad wavers with the surface tension of the water holding it back, but then boom, floats up and just starts levitating in the air
And I do
at the sort of as you're controlling it with your wand.
Oh, do I have to...
You have to be constantly
Can
maintaining
I-
a spell.
Go on. Go on.
I do like these props. It's
Yeah.
completely pointless.
It does.
Makes me feel better.
It
I like-
matters. It really matters.
Do I have to be stationary?
No, you can walk while doing it. You just
Okay.
have to concentrate on doing it.
Alright, I'm gonna walk over to it.
Good.
And I'm gonna try and get on it.
Okay.
Wow.
Make a acrobatics check.
I love
Challenge
this
level
so
2.
much.
Acrobatics?
What's
What
Liam
are you
doing?
doing? I'm like, I look over and I see
What's
that
Liam
face. I'm like,
doing?
oh no.
I'm chatting up Morgan, but I do see him doing his thing, I'm going to say.
You manage to clamber onto this levitating thing while still keeping it levitating. I would like you to make a destiny roll.
Rob.
Sorry.
11.
Morgan's still completely indifferent to you
That's fine.
in any kind of...
That's fine.
You're a bit smitten with her, aren't you?
No, I think I'm just trying to gravitate around the people that I think are worthy of
You've
my time.
definitely, after half a year, there's a clique.
Yeah.
It's you, Morgan, and the other Slytherin, the third Slytherin. Wait. Because Morgan's Gryffindor.
And
The
Merlin's
third, the two Slytherins and Morgans are like the little Draco Malfoy gang, basically. But with only 12 students, it's a lot more of a
force.
Yeah. Merlin is very respected but not popular. But, given that it's
like
you two and Merlin, and then the 6 kids kind of gravitate. The Ravenclaws and Hufflepuffs kind of keep to themselves. But it's like they're the mob mentality. So it's definitely like the underdog 3 and then like the rulers of the roost. And then the other 3 generally side with Morgan's gang. But if one of them, something bad happens, they will like turn and laugh at them too. They're kind of indifferent, but yeah.
Cool.
That's the lay of the land.
Like it.
All right, so is Wiley successfully floating across
Yes.
the lakes?
Yes.
Hey, I
And
think Wiley could
you're
use
at
a
the point
bath.
of now sneaking.
I'm
into the-
sneaking
Make a
into the
stealth check.
water.
So he's floating on top of the lake.
He's floating on top of the lily pad.
On the
the
lake.
first
Challenge
one
level.
towards the lake.
Okay.
Yep. Challenge level is equal to their perception rolls.
Oh,
It's
okay.
contested.
Well, that's going to suck. 2. I used...
We'll talk about that.
Okay, that was 2.
Make a perception check.
Blech.
2.
You win.
Oh, do I? Yes!
You don't. Actually, the perceiver wins, but I've reversed it
Yeah,
for my
no,
games.
cool.
Because I
I'm
think in
okay
case of
with
the tie,
that.
the stealther
I
should
thought I
win.
was distracting him as well. So
Yeah,
is there,
probably
like,
should have
an
given him some kind of
advantage?
disadvantage,
Yeah.
but it's fine. He wins. He sneaks and you don't notice.
Can I start trying to move forward? Is that
With the levitation spell?
Yeah, like,
okay, I'm going to... Where are
use a
you
bit of
attempting to
momentum.
hover along towards that flower on the other side?
Yeah, my thought was when I was jumping onto it, I'd create a bit of momentum.
Cool.
Yeah.
I'm going to get you
In-
to
in
maintain
the
a
direction.
challenge level 2 spellcasting check again to see if you can control the spell. And is Liam doing anything? You
Hey,
still controlling the
success.
spell.
Morgan, do you think Wiley could use a bath?
Well, he is a bit filthy, isn't he?
How far out is he?
He's like 5
Taking
foot.
one for the team.
If he drops right now, is he going to get covered head to toe?
Yeah.
We need to incantata him.
What does that do?
It's a...
You told me earlier. It's the one that ceases people using magic. It's a counterspell.
Okay. Make a counterspell check, and you need to beat his original casting roll. He got 3 successes. You do not.
I'm going to beat it.
Yeah, you...
You want to use a destiny roll, you
I wanna use
troublemaker. No, do it. Go on, do it.
I used one.
It'll be satisfying for everyone later when Liam's in trouble.
Fuck it. I'm going to burn
and
both
can't
of
do
them. Can I
anything
do
about
that?
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
And there's a...
Sorry, I shouldn't have done that.
And your spell...
I'm sorry, Wiley.
Your spell completely just ceases to function, and you know it's a spell that's been cast upon you, and the lily pad splashes down in the water,
Liam's
and you
like,
get soaked.
I know it's my
But I'm
destiny to
still
do this.
Technically, like a float.
It collapses,
but
like
I'm
folds
drenched.
inwards, and you
Yeah.
fall into the water, and you basically have to crawl out
Oh,
the
sorry.
river's bank, and
Does
you're
it disturb
completely wet.
Bubblehead at all? Does it disturb Bubblehead at all?
Probably...
Destiny.
No, not really. It's just split. You've got a
We did
magical
divide,
force bubble
yeah.
over your head, but you're now swimming underwater towards the other side.
Yeah.
Okay. Merlin says, "Hey, you all right?"
Oh yes.
It was that bloody Liam again.
Of course. Karma will get him.
No, I mean maybe we could. Should we fight back?
Is this Molly?
Maybe.
No, this is Merlin.
But, okay, cool.
What do you have in mind?
Well, there's a charm that I learned recently. No, it's too dangerous. Yeah. Never mind. I'll let.
What's
So
the
who's going to go and get this thing? I'm certainly not going to get as wet as Wiley.
I like come up on the other side of the water, like.
Oh, you're still
no?
swimming
Okay,
across.
alright.
I'm going to get you to make a swim check.
Okay. All right.
Anyone?
Swim check now.
Yeah.
What's
Challenge
what's
level 1.
Helena Hufflepuff?
She's just watching.
Okay.
This is part of the learning, is seeing how you do everything.
Challenge level what? Sorry.
Challenge level 1.
No, I pass. Okay, just. I didn't say that.
You're about halfway across. You're making your way across. Because it's a big pond. It's not like a little thing.
Yeah.
Anyone doing anything? Or is everyone just standing at the bank now?
Liam, I think maybe you should show us how it's done, since you seem to be the man to show people how things are done.
Oh, yeah, good, but I'm not interested in this one.
Weak.
Ooh. Throwing down shade.
One of the kids is like attempts to play like lily pad jumping, and on like the third lily pad splashes into the water, and there's a chorus of laughs. The kids are basically like one by one attempting to cross.
So you say weak to me.
Yeah.
I look you up and down and go, wet.
Cool. And eventually you pop out of the water on the other side.
Yes.
The bank crawls upwards, and there are two blooming flowers, and then right sort of past them in between is the unblooming one.
Okay, I'm going to perception check just to see if there's anything I notice about, like, you know, how safe it is to just reach out and grab it or pick it or whatever I've learned.
Challenge level 3.
1.
You don't notice anything dangerous. There's two big flowers and then a thing.
Okay, cool. I reach in.
You have to walk in, and they're big.
I walk in.
All right, so you walk closer,
Yep.
and as you walk past the first flower, it shudders and shivers, and then achoo! On you, and poof, Nicholas disappears. Make an acrobatics check.
Is it flu powder?
Challenge level 2.
Okay, acrobatics. Can I do athletics?
No. Acrobatics.
All right.
Acrobatics is like
Challenge
feats of
level.
acrobatics.
Challenge level 2.
Challenge level 2.
2.
30 foot in the air, Nicholas appears out of nowhere and at random and manages to grab onto a vine and is hanging above the water by this vine randomly in the grove looking around.
Oh God! How far am I away from the flower thing?
Like in the middle, you're like way back and in the middle and above now, like hanging from the roof.
Is the vine something that I could cut in a way that has me swing in the direction I want to go?
You could
That a
attempt it.
Destiny roll for sort of direction.
If you want me to... I don't know why you want me to roll. Because here's the... Okay, I'm doing...
So
it.
you're saying...
No, this is for the commenters. This is for the commenters. I was going to just let
Say
him do
yes,
it.
and?
He said, make a destiny roll. So now when I roll like a 1 to 3 and it's terrible, blame him. 17. Fine. Guess what? You can do it.
Yay! Same result as it. Okay, I get it. I'm with
It's
you.
well set up for it to work.
All right.
Because I'm going to drop the challenge level for it. But you're first going to have to sever it.
Yeah. Pull up.
You're going to try and bite it?
No. Wait. Okay. I pull out my wand, and
What is the point of the sword that they made? If
I don't have it on me.
Oh, okay.
Razarius Maximus.
To razor cut it?
Yeah.
Okay, make a magic check, challenge level 3.
Yeah.
It's a
Ooh.
thick vine.
Okay.
But you'll make progress either way.
3.
Hey!
Yay!
There's a swift cut, and the vine... It's not multiple swishes. Meanwhile, what are you guys doing? It does get cut, but I like to cut back and forth.
Yep.
I'm still just chilling.
Cool. Another student makes it halfway across the pond and woof, woof, and teleports and drops a couple of feet and splashes into the water. There's a bunch of students getting wet and being teleported around by these flowers.
What would you do, Merlin, if you were to go and get this?
Well, if I'd learnt how, I'd apparate, but I think that's a bit advanced for us. Accio flower? Poof, and he casts his wand across the way. 3 successes.
3. That's not bad.
The spell takes, but the big flower like pulls on its stem and then pulls back and then just like he lets go of the spell and because it's still connected to the plant and he's like, well, worth a try.
Okay.
You swing.
Yeah. So I'm swinging. And then mid swing, because I saw it moving. Can I say, like, I don't know if it would be perception, but do I see that starting to happen?
Yeah. That's all happening. All in a split second.
So as I slice and start swinging, I say, "Do it again, Merlin!" And I'm swinging towards the flower, and I'm going to cast the same slice spell.
I'm going to get you to make an athletics check, challenge level 3, just to stay on this bloody thing.
Okay. Oof.
This is difficult. You're now Tarzan swinging exactly where you want to go on a vine and casting a spell.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Oh no! That was a critical fail. That could have been cool.
You're swinging towards, and you're like, "Do it, Merlin! Cast again!" He casts again, and at the same time, what was the spell you said? Rosarius?
Yeah.
You're like, Rosarius! And you don't realize because you're inexperienced, but as you cast it, you like pull it back to cast it, but you say the word too early, so you actually cast the spell when it's like the wand is pulled back and just sever the vine you're swinging on. And the whole thing you just go and splash down into the water. There's this almighty crash. And Nicholas is just like in a complete wrap of vines and mess in the middle of the water. And your plan has been thoroughly foiled.
That's amazing.
I pissed myself laughing.
Well, you're next, Liam, says Helga. Everyone else is having a try.
Yeah, go on, Liam.
Hey, I don't fancy getting wet, mister. Wet, though, miss.
Ah, I didn't take a Slytherin for a coward. Afraid of a bit of water, are you?
Them's fighting words.
And you see the 3 Hufflepuff students. You're a Hufflepuff, aren't you? The 2 other Hufflepuff students are like, one they've both fallen in and gotten wet, but they're the only ones who've like learnt, because they're so like caring and kind. They're just like charms and like dry, and there's steamy warmth coming off them, and they've got like these hearth fire charms and stuff. So they're like completely warm and dry and comfortable even when they're getting wet. But no one else is, because no one's bothered to learn these like how to warm your clothes by the fire sort of spell.
How long around the lake is it? Like, can I walk around?
You can't walk around. It's like a vine cocoon with water in the middle.
If I were to try and freeze the lake, what would my challenge level be?
Very high. 5, I'd say.
Dick move.
If I were to try and freeze a path across the lake.
4.
Still more.
It's still... What I'm doing for you guys as well is I've catered the challenge level to the fact your first years. So, like, as you would level up, the spells would become...
easier.
And there'd be the things that are challenge level 2 for you now, you wouldn't even need to roll for. You'd just be like, done.
Yeah.
Go on, Liam.
Go on, Liam. Everyone's watching. Helga gives you a reassuring pat on the back.
Meanwhile,
Go get me flour.
I go over to Merlin. Merlin, maybe if we get some other people, we can all pull the flower over to us. What do you think?
Maybe.
If everyone assists.
I don't think the stem's going to budge. I think we'd need a different spell.
Are there any, like, broad river rocks around me?
We'll say there's a couple.
Something I can stand on that's relatively rigid.
Sure. Yeah.
Cool. I picked that
Bit
up.
of slate.
Yep. Locomotor Rictus.
I don't know that spell.
It's what they use to make luggage float.
Ah. Okay. And you're going to stand on it and float across? Mm-hmm. It's challenge level 3.
3? Fuck me. Can I re-roll that, or does it count?
You can re-roll it. I'll be nice.
That was a fact.
That doesn't work.
Destiny roll. No, the spell sort of starts.
1!
Oh, it's 'cause
Yes!
it's the green.
And
Be mean.
Liam.
Do it. Be mean.
Yes.
I didn't put it over the water.
Don't you start doing
You climbed onto it and flew
You
across?
take the one
Yeah,
like a champ. Everyone else is taking it.
If I didn't cast the spell, I'm not going to
You
stand
did
on
cast the spell. The challenge level was to do it and get across.
And you critically failed. What happens, narrator Dave?
The smug prick gets halfway across the lake,
Yes!
and then his thing starts wobbling,
Yeah, it does.
and then you lose control of the spell.
Cool.
And then you fall into the water with a splash, but you're going to try and not do that. Tell me how you're
No, I'm going to continue swimming across.
Okay, so
How
you
far away
splash into
from
the water?
the end we're trying to get to am I compared to Liam?
You're incapacitated. You're in a mess of vines in the water.
Can I try to climb out? Give me a challenge level to climb out. Come on.
Challenge level 3 athletics.
Okay. Destiny point.
God.
I'm out.
You
that your
clamber
last
out onto
one?
the banks at the same time. I'll make a swim check. Challenge level 1, like I made Jazza make. You're fine. You swim rapidly across. You actually beat him. You overtake him as he's clambering out. And you rapidly pull up onto the bank.
Petrificus totalis on the open flowers. It freezes them.
No, I know what it does. You make a casting check, spellcasting. It's a more advanced spell. 3. I'll keep that for the more cooler, bigger effects.
Are you fucking kidding me? 1.
You failed Petrificus totalis. And... that's a reroll. Okay. Merlin looks at you and he says, "Can you help me with this?"
Of course.
And he points his wand towards the flowers that you're attempting to Petrificus totalis, and he says, "Accio flower."
Accio flower.
Make a assisted spellcasting roll.
So challenge level 3 for the assist. Oh, -2, Merlin. Good luck.
And it seems that these flowers are just very resistant to magic. The open flowers seem to, because you're like, why isn't it working? Must be because they're magical beings, magical plant, that it's resistant to magic, because on the open flower, Accio did not work either. And at this time, after you clamber out of the water next to Liam, who's fast becoming your nemesis in school.
Yes.
You're both standing on the bank with 2 flowers between you and the sealed flower ahead of you.
So what was it that the flower did to me when
Sneezed on you.
It sneezed on me.
Hold your breath.
Oh no, it was like a pollen powder that came out. It was like a powder that came out and teleported you.
I look at Liam and I shove him into the flower. I shove him forward.
You will get to react to that thing. Him trying to actually make a perception check.
They use up their
Challenge level is only 1. Okay, you notice him just. You only got 1. You notice he's going to. He lunges to push you.
Petrificus totalis.
Cool. Make a spellcast. Challenge level 3.
What? Oh, god damn it, Liam. When will you get your comeuppance?
That's pretty cool.
What did he... What was it?
You get turned to a log and you just collapse on the ground. Liam!
I'm so disproportionately angry at
10
Liam.
points from Slytherin!
He tried to hurt me!
You can't be casting charms and hexes on your other students. That's not very sporting.
Hey, but he's allowed to swing at me.
I didn't see that.
Open your damn eyes.
10 points from Slytherin! Watch your tongue, boy!
That's 100 points.
Can I roll his frozen
I'm on the ground like, no.
If you'd like to.
Yeah, I just kind of shuffle with my foot.
Oops, sorry.
Make a strength check. Challenge level 2. You kick the body.
She'd see that.
She didn't see you hit me.
Oh, she was paying attention now.
Petrificus totalis, she says, and you turn to stone and collapse like a log. And then she says, Accio Liam, Accio Nicholas, and pulls you both across. And then she counters the charm on you, Nicholas. And then she looks down at you and she says, your conduct is reprehensible. And I will be speaking to Salazar about this evening. To attempt to harm your fellow students in that way is completely unexpected from students of Hogwarts. She says, becoming English, not Welsh, because I forgot.
Yeah, I just look decidedly wounded and shocked. Like, I can't believe he would do this to me.
And you've reset, and you've failed your test.
Liam!
You'll have detention after this, and you'll have to retake a herbology test to make up for it. The both of you behave. And then you two are out of it. So, Wiley, you're the last chance to pass this class for you guys.
I'm still frozen.
Yeah, you are. She's cross. She's got that like she's so lovely and caring, but now she's just like crossed the line of mum is being stern.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do the same float across. Mm-hmm. And well, I'll do that first.
So you try again.
Yeah, try again.
Challenge level 3.
Yep.
Two successes. You fail again.
Go on.
Yeah, I'll use Destiny.
Okay, you use the destiny point,
Yep.
and you float across on the lily pad and arrive on the bank.
It's not gonna move, so I'm gonna. Where? Can I attempt to cut it?
Merlin follows you with critical success. Merlin glides across on a lily pad next to you and plots down beside you. What would you attempt to cut
I
it
was
with?
going to offer something. We worked together. And you tried to punch me.
Shove.
The same
I tried to shove.
razor.
Whatever.
Okay. Which is challenge level 3.
Cool.
And it is, what do we say it was? It was a charm, so you're not particularly skilled at it, so you only get 4 dice.
Yes.
You succeed. What do you
Meanwhile,
chop? What do you chop?
The base stem of the flower.
Of the flower? One of the flowers drops to the ground.
Like the unopened.
Oh, the unopened one. Yeah, the unopened one
Yeah.
and drops to the ground.
And then I'm gonna grab it.
You walk towards it and grab
Oh. Wingardium Leviosa.
it. Okay. Challenge level 2.
Meanwhile, just Wiley knocks it out of the park.
Challenge
Can
level
I
2.
talk to Merlin first?
Do you want his help?
Oh, I just want his help getting back while I can move it, can't I?
Yeah, you can move it.
Yeah, sorry. I'm gonna like try it and get it
Do
back.
it yourself?
Yeah.
Okay, challenge level 2. You successfully levitate the flower bod. And as it passes past the other flower, achoof! Poof, and it just teleports out of your grip and then appears and starts falling. And I'll set the challenge level. I need to use 2 different...
Come on, Morgana.
And Morgan leaps to attempt to catch it and fails. But there is a more athletic one amongst you. And between 2 lily pads leaps Bray, who jumps and snatches the flower out of the air and lands on the other side with a smile. Helga says, "Excellent job! 20 points to Hufflepuff.
Yes.
Or they're
Good
catching
job,
up.
Brian.
10 for your ingenuity.
Did you take away
and
20?
10 for your excellent catch." And with that, you begin the walk home. She uncharms you, but hopefully at this point you're feeling a little bit like a scolded schoolboy. You're still completely arrogant with this magical witch, the powerful witch. Or you finally got the like Draco when he's been told off, like sourpuss going on.
Really tempted to boast. Which I know sounds weird because he just got his shit handed to him. But like, she's a full wizard and I'm an 11-year-old boy.
This guy's going to be a dark sorcerer.
No.
He's going to kill people. I can see it coming.
I'm just like, I'll just be sulking, being like,
I'd love if one of the character arcs was like, he becomes like this real like...
But he tried to hit me. I was defending myself.
push. I tried to shove you. I knew it was harmless. It just made me teleport, so it's just getting you to take that so I could... Anyway.
So, on your way back...
You got teleported 30 feet in the air.
Yeah.
If there hadn't been a lake beneath you...
Anyway.
So, on your way back, Helga Hufflepuff says, "That was a fun little plan, wasn't it? It's a bit like it's got the flu. I wonder if anyone will be able to work out a use for this." And you head back to Hogwarts. It's a different kind of flu powder. And then, the end of the week. I should go a little addendum. That night, you are forced to write lines. And Slytherin comes into the room. Liam.
Hi, Meister Salazar.
I hear you've been behaving reprehensibly.
I was just defending myself. That plod kid, he tried to push me into the flower things.
Make a persuasion roll.
I'm not persuading him, I'm telling the truth.
You are persuading him to
Yeah.
your side of the... You've been antagonising him this whole school year, and they're your teachers. They're not blind. There's only 12 students.
2.
Okay. I'm going to say that's not... He's like, yes, and boys will be boys, they say back in the day. But it is not conduct that represents my fine name. Schoolyard thuggery. I've seen you picking on the other children. And while I don't necessarily agree that all of them should be here, I do feel that crossing the line is when you speak back to dear Helga Hufflepuff, your professor. Have some respect, boy.
Aye, sir. Thanks for listening. Believe in me.
Well, I will say, I heard the full tale. And I do not want to hear that you have disrespected a teacher again, or my recommendation for you may become on shakier grounds. But, and as he says as he turns, excellent charm work on that Petrificus Totalis spell.
Thank you, sir. It's the first time I've tried it.
I do pick them for a reason. And then he walks out. And then at the end of the week, it's Christmas time. But it's not Christmas time, it's Yuletide feasting. Yuletide feast time, because
Winter
Christmas
solstice.
doesn't exist. It's
Winterfest.
winter solstice.
Yeah.
And you're able to go home from your boarding school. So, Wiley, you head home. You're taken home.
Hi, Mum. Hi, Dad. How you doing?
Oh, how have you been, Wiley? And you notice there's like rafters are a little bit looser. The house is a little bit dodgier. It's
Yeah.
very cold. We've been having poor sales since you left, boy. Hasn't been too good, I must say.
Yes.
The muggles are starting to, cotton on to a few things, and we've been run out of one or two towns.
Not good to hear.
How have you been, though, boy?
Oh, very good. Yes. I've been learning more about potions. I can maybe show you some more.
Have you been tomatoed at all while you've been there?
Tomatoed?
Yes, pilloried.
Well-
Your mother's been pilloried once or twice since you've been gone.
Well, occasionally, but not often.
Well, good to see they're keeping you with a strong back there.
Yes.
Now, show me these potions.
I go
I'm
and...
going to get you to make a potion mastery check. And his proficiency with the skill is going to be set by this destiny dice.
He's very
decent.
good.
So I'm
is
going to say
19.
that's a 4. I'm going to go multiple divide it. So that's a 4. So you need to get 4 or more successes to teach him something new.
Well, I'm gonna
Three's
use
good
the
though.
Destiny.
Three's
Hey!
I have to prove to my parents.
And with the teachings, some of Slytherin's potion mastery wears off, and you actually teach them a trick or two that will improve the quality of their wares, and over the coming semester, hopefully improve the living conditions for your family through your learnings at Hogwarts.
Oh, that's so satisfying.
Liam's had a bit of talk.
Liam.
We'll go back to Nicholas.
Liam doesn't shut up.
Nicholas, what do you... all the other students
do I
leave,
do?
and you're standing there on the grounds.
I go up to Rowena. Mm-hmm. Say, Ma'am, I don't think going home is a good idea, but I would like to speak to my parents, let them know I'm all right. But do you think I might maybe be able to stay here during the break?
You want to go home to your parents?
Well, just to say hi and good luck, and...
You ain't worried they're gonna drown you?
Still,
In a barrel they might.
Still my parents. They didn't attack me. It was everyone else.
Well, there's a problem there, see. If I take you back and I'm forced to protect you, what'll happen to your parents?
You know how you sort of... You took me and appeared me somewhere else. If you could do that, if we could check that there's no one there and I could just pop in briefly and say, don't freak out, magic's real, and I'm all right, and I love you, and...
We cannot tell them that. Magic's a secret. If they find us, they'll kill us. Not necessarily your parents, but muggles. They hunt us, boy. Like witches.
So what...
Which is appropriate, given that we're witches.
Which is
appropriate.
Hey, when I got here, you said it was all handled. Do you mind telling me what you mean? What do they think I am? Where I am?
Well, they probably think you ran off, eh? And that's all. They just never found you. I didn't do anything. Muggles make their own stories up. They'll probably say it's some kind of god or something that did it.
I tell you what, I know it's a big favour, but you see, Merlin's been teaching me how to write, and I know my family can't read, but maybe they can get someone to help read it. And if I could send back a short letter, not saying much though, and maybe just with a gift of something, like here I am contributing still just a little bit, like a...
I can do that, but no word of magic.
Aye.
Cool.
Right,
and you write the
sentimental.
letter. Make a intelligence challenge level for you. Challenge level 3.
Really?
Yep. That's to do it perfectly. And then if you score less, you will do it. But 2 successes. So it's chicken scrolly but legible.
A few backwards R's,
but it's legible, and you do a decent.
Yeah.
No, but not even to that level, because one success would have been success would have been it's just crap.
Yeah.
1 would have been baby writing. 2 is like just scratchy and bad, but still readable. And you write the letter. And
dear
Rowena,
Ma, dear Pa, I'm travelling around. Don't worry about me. That thing that them people were upset about is nothing to worry about. And I'm fine and totally normal in every way, mostly.
Except I
here's
can
a gift to just show as a token of still contributing, and I hope everything's looked after well at the farm.
And what's the gift?
I was gonna like extra efficient pair of shears or something, like something
Okay,
like
cool.
Yeah,
Just something
I know will be practical that
Rowena
they can't
makes
afford.
one for you. She crafts one out of magic. She fabricates this extra sharp pair of shears that are very fantastical. They look normal, but they're very, very special. They remain sharp. They're actually enchanted to never go blunt.
Love it.
But the muggles will never know. They'll just think they're the best pair of shears.
Yeah.
And she calls an owl to take the message. And then she says, well, you might charge, I guess, but Helga's probably got a space for you to stay. I've got things to do.
I won't get in the way, don't worry, ma'am.
And you spend Christmas at Hogwarts with Helga Hufflepuff, tending to the grounds and basically spending some motherly time with her and helping her around the fields with things that you're used to as she continues to magically enchant and shape the lands around Hogwarts, which is still new and wild. And yeah, that's where you spend your Christmas break.
Love it.
And Liam,
Aye,
you go back to Isle Scotland.
I do.
The Isle of Scotland.
Isle of Scotland. Aye, I do.
And you see your father.
Aye, Pa. I cannot talk. I gotta get to work. I'm gonna study real hard over the Christmas break and help around with the family. But when I get back to school, I'm gonna be a damn sight better than that plod. And I spend my entire holiday period doggedly working and studying.
Okay. Make a destiny roll.
15.
Cool. You do it well. And that study affords you an edge in the form of a destiny point that you can expend in the next episode.
Love that.
Picking up where we left off, we're coming back from the school holidays for our third part
In a world
of 3.
Of
Yeah, you'd be better
historical
at doing the intro.
inaccuracies. And you just have to accept that. It's Harry Potter.
We'll disclaim every episode.
It's all nonsense. Half the stuff is pulled from fantasy, which is J.K. Rowling's universe, and which is nonsense.
And who's to say Merlin didn't just use a time turner to go back 500 years before his birth?
Later. Nah,
No?
not doing that.
Okay.
Nah. Sorry, Merlin was born in like 10-something in my universe. It's J.K. Rowling's
Cool.
universe. Whatever. We're getting bogged into nonsensical stuff. So, what was your highlight? You know what? This is how we're doing the recap. You ready?
Yeah.
Nicholas,
Yes.
what was your highlight from your last semester at Hogwarts?
I turned a stick into a sword, and Wiley helped me turn it into a metal
Yes.
stick, and Merlin helped me craft it into a nice pointy sword. It's rough around the edges, but I think with a little work and polish, it's got potential.
All right. Liam, what was your favourite thing about your
Hey.
first semester at Hogwarts?
It'd definitely be when I got Batman in the bubble-headed spell and popped it underwater.
I'm remembering now how much I hate Liam. It's all coming flooding back.
And Wiley, what was your favourite thing from your first semester at Hogwarts?
Getting to not be in the slums anymore and learn more magic and more about potions.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, they had some adventures. You've watched them. It's part 3. Why we go and watch them if you haven't watched them? It's part 3. Come on. All right. So we will set our scene and open our scene as you have all arrived through various means, magically assisted or otherwise, to arrive back at Hogwarts. And you have just had a welcome feast to welcome you back to the second semester. And you're effectively heading back to the common rooms.
What a lovely meal that was. Oh, they don't put cooking on like that. What, during the holidays for the people they keep here?
Oh, I didn't even eat hardly anything during the holidays.
Well, I suppose with all your potions, it would have been a lot more drinking, eh?
Yes.
He said creepily. Yes.
And around you, the corridor shifts and bends. There's a jostle as you all shake slightly, and the corridor just and bends and twists and connects to another part of the school in front of you.
Whoa, is this a new feature?
It's a little thing I've been noticing. It happened at the end of last semester, says Merlin. I think, well, the teachers, they keep changing the place to suit their whims, but they don't seem to ask each other. So it just shifts around every now and then.
That's odd.
Oh.
Makes it. What if I wanted to go where it was going? It's going to make getting to class a little inconvenient.
And for a little bit of context that you will never find out, in my world, that is why the shifting corridors and staircases at Hogwarts exist. From like 100 years of hardcore magic of early eccentric professors just like casting spells and rerouting
I want this
corridors.
flow of
No, I
traffic.
need to go this way, and they just reroute.
And
the
then they
corridor.
all die, but it's
Yeah,
still doing
because
that.
the magic just slowly seeped into all of the building,
I
and
love
eventually
it.
it all just stays that way.
That's great.
So
It's great.
you're heading down this corridor, and there's probably like half the students going this way. You're all included, including you, Liam. And
We're stuck with Liam.
through the wall pops a ghastly apparition holding a ghastly suitcase
What's that?
or traveling trunk.
Is that a ghost?
I don't know. It looks like one.
Who are you all?
We're students.
It swoops down and like ghostly mist floats away from it, gets down to your level.
Who are you?
A ghost real?
What? Do I look real, lad?
I've never seen one before.
And any of you can make a. Do any of you have any historical knowledge? Anyone learned? Not you, Plod.
No.
Anyone else? maybe a little bit. I'll say that Liam's probably more. Oh no, you're an English boy. You both, Liam and Wiley, can make an intelligence check with a challenge level for your education level. I'm actually just going to vary it. Yours is 2. Yours is 3. Your challenge level. Almost. And what's Liam gonna do? 2 successes with the challenge level 2. So, Liam, you recognize his attire to be something you've seen in historical depictions of very early English history, but specifically Roman influence. So he appears to be dressed in Roman attire, ancient Roman attire, and he sort of billows down before you and he says, "Me, I am Gallus Hermina. A pleasure to meet you all."
Gallus, where are you from?
Well, this land, or thereabouts, I've been haunting the bastard Scots for, well, a long time. Till I noticed this place pop up on my neck of the woods.
So you don't like Scots?
Well, they killed me, didn't they?
Yeah, well, watch out for that one. He might kill you a second time.
They didn't take kindly
point at
to
Liam.
our lessons of currency and order and...
Scottish enough for me to want a ghost to deal with you. He's from the... Is that Isle of Man? Is that people said is halfway between
Well,
Scotland?
it's kind of irrelevant because they would have spoken Gaelic and it was a whole mess wildly irrelevant because none of these accents would be being spoken. You'd be speaking Gaelic.
Yeah.
You guys would be speaking some kind of proto-English.
Gotcha. We're pretending.
Yeah. None of you are speaking Latin. It's all a mess.
What brought you in here? How did...
I sensed a wellspring of energy, I guess. It's hard to explain to those still bound to the mortal realm.
Oh, it's good to know there's something after, you know.
Well, I don't know so much if there is.
What's it like being, well,
Dead.
like that? What, I'm trying to be polite.
I
don't have to go say it directly.
Oh, he knows.
It's much the same, but I don't need to use the bathroom anymore.
That sounds all right.
Can you still fart?
Really?
They're 11-year-olds.
He grins. He grins his portly smile. He seems entertained by the youth. And he's like, I could attempt it.
Oh, no. Good opener.
And he seems to struggle for a moment, and then he says, "Alas, no.
No.
The wind has escaped me. And not in the way I'd intended."
Can you, like, move stuff with your mind or with your essence?
Oh, when I feel particularly... no, I can't.
Oh.
I can complain.
What else can
I
you
can
do?
whinge. Those damn Scots. Anyway, you look like you're off somewhere. Where are you headed?
Off to class? Well, from a feast. Are we going... Wait.
You're going to dorms.
Off to dorms.
Yeah.
Well, is there anywhere for me to stay? I think I might take up residence here.
Sure. I mean, does he have to ask a professor or something?
I wouldn't ask us. Maybe someone else.
Let me find your dorms. And then he just whooshes down the corridor away from you.
Well, that was an eventful walk away from a meal.
Dude.
I'm going to say this whole time I've got my head buried in a book.
You're just not noticing a ghost.
Yeah, I'm legit studying.
Okay, cool. You press...
Shifty
I
eyes.
told you, like, he spent his entire Christmas holiday studying because he wants to beat you. And that trend has not stopped.
Oh, God.
All right.
You travel on for a couple of minutes until you reach where you would find your resting place. And suddenly, the doorway that you usually go through is obstructed by a rather large painting.
What's this about? What's the painting of?
It's a painting of an old like trade post with lots of goods and coins and things like that.
It seems like with every addition to this castle, they're introducing interruptions to getting from point A to point B.
Indeed.
No! And a head pops out of it. That was me. And you see this like ghostly aura floating around the painting.
It's the same ghost.
It's the same one. It's the only ghost at Hogwarts at this stage. It's Gallus. He's currently the only ghost at Hogwarts, the first one to arrive. He seems to have been like a Roman taxman or something that was in England post, in late Roman era.
Why is there a painting in front of the dorm room?
I've taken to possessing it.
Well,
why?
Can you let us in?
I've decided that my new goal in life might be to extract amusement from obstructing students from their learnings. Oh. You're all learning the wrong stuff anyway.
Well, what's the right stuff to you then?
Stuff of the Empire, boy.
All right, go on, teach me.
Let's see if you can pass my riddle then, lad.
Oh, great. Yeah. Go on, out with it.
What is half of 9?
Oh, I haven't learned to count yet. Does that come before or after the magic? I look pleadingly at Wiley and Merlin.
He said it was a riddle, so I feel like it's a trick question.
Half of 9.
Me.
9. 9?
This is a question of numeracy, not literacy, boy. But I can see from your head buried in a book that you're probably more interested in that.
I get that joke because I learnt how to spell. Sort of.
Merlin?
You're not allowed in until you answer my riddle. 4.5 is wrong.
Oh, great.
What is
Conjurus Bedicus? And I attempt to conjure something soft to sleep on.
You completely lack the capability as a first-year wizard.
Opinus Paintingus!
Don't point that stick at me, boy. Now,
Staphicus Uicus!
Maybe you'll get this one. What's half of 11?
So, Merlin, you know how to count. Help us out here.
He looks like so self-satisfied.
Wiley.
I don't know.
Liam, I don't suppose you're willing to,
I use it 6.
One of you knows how to count properly rather than chicken scratchings on the paperwork. 6, of course.
Wait.
And then the painting, opens to the side.
I might say something about that if I knew how to count, so I'm not gonna.
You see Merlin's head down in the book and he's scribbling away.
Oh, he's not here. Okay,
Merlin
sorry.
is with you, but he's and he's furiously, and he's just oh, is it? And then he turns his piece of paper to you, and you see that he's drawn the Roman numerals for 11, and then he's drawn a line through it, and the top half of it is VI, because it's XI for 11, and the top half is VI.
Did you know that?
He
You clever bastard!
Rob/Liam worked it out.
God damn it. You're too clever for your own good.
And a voice.
That's why I like playing dumb characters.
A voice from behind that you hadn't noticed had entered the area and was watching intently says, "Excellent deduction, as expected from one of mine, Liam. 5 points to Slytherin."
Hey, thank you, sir.
And then wanders off. And yes, you go into your dorms, and it seems that slowly more magic is being attracted to Hogwarts. It becomes like a locus point over time, and weird things and wondrous things just slowly collect there. And the first ghost has joined the cast.
Gallus.
And the next
Roman ghost.
The next day, you have some basic, getting accustomed and unpacking your stuff. But the next day is your first class. And you are going to meet with all of the teachers in the common hall. And you arrive, Godric Gryffindor stands before you. And he says,
Everyone, today's lesson is of the utmost importance. You, under our guidance, of course, shall be recovering things taken from our community. Remember, you are apprentices all, and you must be taught how to function in Muggle society, as well as our own. So this, we are calling the Muggle Artifact Rescue Mission.
That sounds appropriate, I guess.
I would like you all to split into groups of 3, and we will then organize you based on the mission we'll be going on with you.
I just like put my arm around Wiley and Merlin and like scowl at Liam.
Not paying attention.
Yeah, of course. You've been asked to organise into groups of 3. Are you still looking at your book? Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, at that stage, put your damn book down, boy! And listen to your teachers.
Inattentiveness, that would be 5 points from Slytherin, surely.
Sorry, sir.
Without a doubt.
Now, get yourself into groups. Now, you've quickly, they're just like into a group. A couple of the Hufflepuffs, the other 2 Hufflepuffs and one of the Gryffindors, so Bryeth, and just go into a group of 3. Have you got any particular...
Morgan and whoever else falls in line with
Morgan that. And one of Morgan's closest lackeys are quite content. They kind of like beckon you over and draw you together. And...
they're all bad news, that lot.
Oh, yes.
And you're all grouped together, and just before Gryffindor starts to speak again, Slytherin speaks up. And he says, I disagree with these groupings, Godric. It's such a crutch to lean on bonds of friendship rather than your own damn talent. So no, I don't think we'll be keeping this chummy one together with those who might uplift them to higher standards. Merlin, my bright boy, come over here. And he beckons, and Merlin leaves your group. Oh. And he says, no, you two should work on your own merits. But perhaps... who should I put with? Well, perhaps one of yours needs to learn how to goddamn cooperate. You there, Liam, you're with them.
Hi, sir.
And Liam traipses over to you two.
We're stuck with this one. He's pretending to not pay attention, so...
Before he comes
I think we could say anything, really, and he
I didn't want this any more than you did. Too low. Gotta go up.
you do it, but... Well, let's see about that.
Just what do you mean by that?
I'm not sure. I said it before I actually sort of thought what it...
Anyway...
You don't want this any more than we do, but I'm saying we don't want this more than you don't. And
I think it will be maybe okay.
Make
Maybe.
perception checks. Challenge level 2.
Success!
Hey!
4.
Nailed it. All right, you all notice that the teachers suddenly pull together. Rowena comes in and starts hurriedly talking to the teachers. And briefly after, they separate again. And Godric says, there's been a change of plans. Unfortunately, one of the artifacts has fallen from our grasp. There'll be 3 groups now. Groups of 4. I'll take you 3 and... Adwin, come here. Adwin. And he beckons over a Gryffindor student, who is a girl with a blonde bowl cut sort of like a friar's cut, and then shaved down the rest of it. She is built.
You said Gryffindor?
Yes. Yeah. You don't know much about her.
A tough lass.
And she rocks up. And very, very odd for a girl to have like a friar's cut like that. And
Are you a farmer, Adwin?
no, not a farmer.
Oh, sorry, you sort of built like...
I'm a knight.
You're a knight?
Well, a squire.
Nice.
They have knights our age.
Well, a squire. Well, until the other ones dobbed me in.
Dobbed you in for what?
Well, not being a boy.
What? Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Rubbish. Anyway, we don't care about that, do we? Wizards are great.
Cool.
My mum was a wizard.
Hey, do you know swordplay?
Yeah.
I whisper, I'm like, don't tell anyone, but I've got a sword.
And she whips this, like, explorer's backpack off and starts rooting around in it. Meanwhile, what's Liam doing?
Continuing to pretend to
Watching the
ignore it.
teachers or studying
cool.
if I think I can get away with it.
You probably can slip into your boat. And she pulls out a wooden training sword from her bag and she's like, ha! I've got this!
Wow! How do I get one of those? Wait, I've already got an actual sword.
Well, your
But I
sword's
guess
kind
that's
of like
better for
janky, right?
practice.
Currently.
Hey, it's rough around the edges.
Maybe we can turn it into an actual sword.
We did that with a stick in the forest.
Yeah.
We could start a production line. I feel like there's a business in this somehow. Anyways, I digress.
A big swooping set of arms like pulls you all in and then says, all right, we ready to go?
Sure are, Mr.
Hey, let's get
Sir
on with
Grip,
this.
Lord Grip. What do we call you, sir? Master?
You're my apprentices, yes? Well, you're all our apprentices. You can call me Sir.
Yes, sir.
Like, we're all family here. You can call me Mr. You know, like Mr. Gryffindor. All right, so he says, we are going deep into Muggle society. Put on your best, well, your most appropriate attire. None of the wizard frock.
That's
Okay.
easy.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
And you have time to get
into-
changed. You
Yep.
get changed into commoner's clothes.
Yeah.
Commoner's clothes.
Slummy hominid.
Kind of like
Yeah.
low-level noble vagabond.
Cool. Okay, I'll say you've got that. And yes, Aedwin rocks up with basically like squires. She's got like a doublé on, like a padded training jacket for being bashed with a sword. Cool. And you do note that she is incredibly androgynous when she's dressed up as this, and you would have easily passed as a knight squire.
Cool.
And she's just like, she's probably bigger than all of you, but not as not taller than you. She's like, all right, I'm good to go. And Godric says, let's operate. And he pulls out his wand and you all
Yay!
are stomach churningly teleported away.
We're going on an adventure.
I hate that
I
feeling.
love adventures.
Evaporation.
Oh, it's terrible.
And-
what was that?
Poof! You pop back into reality just in time to hear dung, dung, dung of a bell ringing and the rushing of water. You are in a small grain storage cupboard, like pot and grain storage cupboard, all hustled together.
Why are we in a cupboard?
Well, you don't just go about teleporting into the middle of a town.
Wow.
Scare a person after death.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Now,
Hey, and God forbid you teleport on top of them.
can you guess where we are?
Well, from the sound of that bell, church.
Yes, we're right near the Westminster.
Where's
St.
that?
Peter's Church.
Is this where the king is?
Well, I mean, he's on Thorny Island and his new palace, but no, it's the Minster.
What's a minster? Westminster.
You know, it's a church. It's a big
It's a
church.
big church.
Big
Yeah,
church
yeah,
full of
that's an
monks.
Abbey.
It's an abbey, yeah.
Who's Abby?
It would go on to become, once it was burnt down and was rebuilt, it eventually became Westminster Abbey in
Yeah.
London. But at that time,
That's
it was
where
known as St.
the
Peter's Church.
coronations happen
Yeah,
and stuff. Yeah,
but at that time, it was St. Peter's Church.
yeah, gotcha.
It's just been refurbished by the current king.
Are we going to church?
You're in one of the largest
sir?
population centres in England.
And speaking of church, how does that all tie in? Magic and God and all that?
Yes. And anyway, we're in the city. And what we have to do is go and get an artifact. One that was taken from us, from the church. Now I'm with you.
Well, what are we looking for? Yeah, give us a description so we can keep our eyes peeled.
It is like a golden egg.
Golden egg.
A small
gold.
golden egg created by a great wizard before our time. As a means of practicing the school of archery.
Oh, Ian, how exactly does this egg work?
Well, it is possessed of a great levitation and flight charm, but it moves about rapidly on wings in the sky, and one with particular talent can train themselves to fire an arrow at a moving target, strike it from the sky.
Wow, sounds like you make that into some sort of game.
No time for such frivolity. This is an important item.
Right, of course. Mystical flying egg. Where do we start, sir?
Well, that is for you. I will be here to guide you and see how well you can adapt to Muggle culture, sneak in, and steal my damn egg.
Where was it last seen?
Somewhere in there. It was last seen on the possession of a young Mikhail.
Mikhail.
Yes, as he was burned at the stake.
Right.
That's...
I jump out of the cupboard and start running around.
Yeah.
Looking for Mikhail. Wait, looking for a steak that was recently burned.
He bursts out of the room. He bursts out of the room.
Cupboard.
You're on the riverside. The abbey's not too far by. There's a couple of poor sort of people washing some laundry by the riverside. And yeah, you bustle out.
I run up to the people by the riverside and say, "Where's the communal steak? You know, where they burn like witches."
Oh,
I sort of stopped myself in my tracks there for a second.
well, you see, they're generally made to order, like, because they're generally burned down with the witch, don't they?
Where they set him up?
Well, sometimes it's in the square, sometimes it's right in front of the church.
Right, and I run to the square. Wait, and I stop and come back. I'm like, "Where's the square?"
Oh, well, you see, it's just there. And he points in front of the church.
And I run to in front of the church and
What are you two
shouting to
doing?
myself, "I won't let that Liam
keep my
get ahead of me this time."
Okay, so you sprint over there. And you're keeping your distance. What are you doing, Wiley?
I'll follow Mr. Plod.
Hurry, keep up, Wiley!
I'm coming!
So you bustle out and you're just...
Yeah.
I'll stick with
I got long
Adwin
legs,
and
so-
Godric.
Godric's like,
So what's the grand plan then? Well, they run off like chickens with no heads.
Hey, well, any good plan needs a distraction, especially when you're trying to steal something back.
Yes, well,
I just hope they don't get themselves hurt.
wise.
don't worry about that! And she whips out her sword. Adwin's just like, I've got them! Wait. Do you need me to stop them? Or are we letting them run around?
Oh, look at that look on your face, you cheeky shit.
I'm just not sure how to answer it.
Great, we left the person with the sword in Liam's control.
No, I'm more worried about you guys being idiots.
Sure,
Because if you screw up, then you screw my chances as well.
or we beat you.
Yeah.
We're a team.
Yeah. Are we? Were we a team when you stabbed me in the back before, Liam? Just you wait. You'll get your comeuppance.
You're the one with the sword.
All right.
Maybe keep up with it. Make sure they don't do anything stupid.
Okay, so do a doer. That's a patron. That's a supporter. And an artist. Adwin. That's a very similar name. You just cut that out. No, you're not going to. No. Okay, Adwin charges after them, but with slight bit more like regard for. She sheaths the sword and like looks left and right and sort of bustles up after you, and then rocks up behind you. What are you doing?
Gonna find out where because the person who was burned at the stake stole the egg, and if we find out where that happened and look around, if it rolled out of his pocket.
No, I think that the people who burned him took the egg.
Right. So we look for someone important close to the town square. It all makes sense.
She just look. Oh, sorry, you go.
I think we should go in the church.
Yeah. So Adrian just looks up to the right to the massive steep of the St. Peter's Church and just gestures towards the church. Usually, the church does the burnings.
Right. And they have lots of things with wings all over the church.
Wow.
It all makes sense
And
now.
gold.
Yeah.
Let's go.
By now, if you're just walking, you've caught up to them. They're having that discussion at the entrance of the church.
Do I have money?
Probably a few. You would probably have wizard money, but actually,
Would it
at
just
this
be
time,
gold?
it would just be gold and silver. So
Yeah.
it probably isn't stamped with the right stamps, but no one would really care.
Do I have much?
Destiny roll. Yes,
Why? That was
you are
20.
rich, but by a child's standards, you have wealthy pocket money. So you could buy any common items you'd need in the town, but you couldn't go and buy a house. What?
Commerce.
Oh, points.
Oh, commerce is
relative.
irrelevant.
Yeah.
You don't. It's
Because that's sort of like
anything a
adventurous
child
stuff,
could
yeah.
reasonably buy in the city in a day. No hassles.
Okay.
Anything more you might be able to afford, but you wouldn't be able to buy because they'd be like, "Where are your parents?" So yeah, you're pretty much set for whatever you need to buy.
I'm getting antsy being near Liam because I was trying to get ahead of him to get this thing first.
Catches up.
So I look at Wiley and I'm like, just keep a sharp eye out for the gold egg because if we get it first, then we'll get more house points and Liam will be blushing out of embarrassment at the end of the year.
Hey, so what's the plans, gents?
It's a bustle of people walking into the church and out of the church.
I say to Liam, the egg is most definitely outside the church. I got someone from town told me they saw it. This is deception.
That is deception.
Yeah. Oi, 4! I'm saying it very convincingly.
What's my contested one?
It's perception.
Perception.
Oh, critical. You got 4.
Yeah, but it goes to the defender.
Yeah. Bummer.
Hey, if that's so, you can take the inside. I'll have a look around the outside.
Shouldn't go to the defender.
That's what I did.
It does, but it shouldn't, because then it's unbalanced. We've already dealt with this in a coach.
We're still going through the stuff. Plus, perception is going to naturally be lower
Can I-
anyway.
I'm happy
because
to
of
take
what
What's your?
Could I
What's
have
your?
no
Do you
deception?
have intelligence?
Yeah, one.
No. Oh.
So in this context, you
Could
have
only
equal sway.
get 3. So I rolled too many dice.
No, you didn't.
You-
Did I?
yeah.
No, because you've only got one attribute, so it doesn't matter. It's as if you're both trained. So it was fine.
No, I
so
was
in
gonna
that case, you win.
Yeah, but I said I'll take it. Like, hey, I'll do a search on the outside.
Okay. Cool.
This is weird. He's acting like a team player. He's up to something. He's trying to trick me till he gets me guard down, and then he's gonna
Let's
pop
go.
pop my
And I just pull
bubble
you
again,
mid-sentence.
so to speak. Let's go.
You just pull in mid sentence. Yes, cool. Adwin comes with you, and you're going into the church.
Yep.
All right. So outside the church, what's going on? What are you looking for?
I would like to do a scout at the perimeter, see if there's any other entrances or exits.
Okay. It is going to take you like 5 minutes to go around this whole place. It's big. So it's basically the major church. Then there's the abbeys with the monks, like where they all live and their various buildings, and it's kind of built in like a square. But the church part that's public is there, and then there's like the other 3 sides of the square are all the monkey buildings where they do learnings and teachings and such. I know words. I'm not a historian.
The monkey buildings.
The monkey building.
I had a bit of like dissonance there. And I'm like, what?
That's where they keep the monkeys from Africa. They bring them in.
Can I do a lap around the outside, keeping an eye out
Sure.
for potentially the egg as well?
There are
as-
multiple entrances and exits, and absolutely no sign of the egg. It's definitely not outside.
That's fine.
Don't even need to roll perception. There are multiple entrances and exits, though. You guys rush inside. Wiley, you're leading the charge.
I look for any signs of shiny gold things and potential places.
and you see a swinging. It's probably completely inaccurate to the time period, but I don't know because I'm not a historian. So deal with it. They're swinging like a little church censer with some burning incense that's got the catch of gold to it. There's a few bits of gold on like candlesticks and plinths. It's not crazy opulent, but it is one of the nicest churches. Holy, holy, holy. This man's like walking along. There's choir voices singing.
Is Godric around?
You can't see him. He's slinked away. Or he's cast invisibility on himself and is watching you from the shadows.
Sort of like, reverently sort of walk up to the altar as far as I'm aware is culturally okay.
Yeah, you know religion.
Yeah.
You've probably never been in a church this fancy, but you've been to church.
I go up and sort of do the whole like kneel and the sign of the cross and whatever it is and use the chance to be in the middle of the church and look around.
Cool.
Yeah,
Make a perception check.
Challenge level.
It's perception. I always feel like it's got a scale to what you roll. 3. So you're in a vaulted ceiling cathedral. 2 rows of pews up there. There's the whole plinth and all that stuff. Various items, but nothing that seems to be reminiscent of a small golden ball. Mostly like the golden items would be like a candlestick. There's probably like a sword cast in gold and a shield maybe, but beyond that, no, not in this area.
I don't see anything, I whispered to Wiley.
Is the guy still swinging incense?
There's a bunch of monks in the building.
Yeah. One that looks approachable. Can I go to?
Sure.
Excuse me, sir. I heard there's incredible artifacts around here.
You hear an almost creaking sound as the man bends down to your level, revealing the bald top of his head. And he says, "Yes?
Well, are they available to maybe see? Because I was told they're amazing, beyond belief."
Yes. Yes, make a perception check.
What an odd thing for a monk to say.
Persuasion
check. No successes. 2 successes. Okay.
Oh boy. The gifts and blessings and wondrous artifacts of the church are plain to be seen around you. See there? The cross and such.
What was his check for deception?
That was his first. No, the defensive roll. It was perception against persuasion.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he was not persuaded.
The more consecrated and precious artifacts are held out of sight of the common man.
What if I have an artifact to give the church? Then can I maybe find a place for it with the other artifacts?
And I'm like starting to signal to Wiley, like,
What have you boys got?
And looks at the 3 of you.
What artifact do you have? Do you have some kind of morning stone bread with the moulding of our Saviour in it?
yes.
Show me.
If you can show me there's a worthy place to put this precious artifact, I'll go get it. But until then, I need to know it's going to be worth it.
Boy, I wasn't born this century. I must evaluate the quality of the artifact.
I must evaluate the quality of the artifact. Shelves. I need to know it's going to be in safe hands.
Shit of an
Destiny
11-year-old.
roll.
You come into the church, this place of God, and question the sanctity of the shelving used to hold his most precious artifacts.
My father was a carpenter. I'm very fussy. Deception. Oh shit!
You were fine.
Yes. Well, no, I'm lying, so that's why I'm rolling.
2 versus 2. He clips you, the back of his hand. I just realized they probably would do that all the time. They would
Yeah.
have no sense of like
Yeah.
what is appropriate. So he just like smacks you in the back of his head, not really hard, but he's
Yeah.
like, "Boy, your insolence is unacceptable."
So, yes.
I'm sorry, sir.
Monk.
We'll go and get the artifact, bring it back.
And show me.
Yes, of course.
Go.
Yes.
Go now.
Yes.
Is it like,
And go to like a private place.
we could make that artifact. Hiding around the corner, and I'll like sort of peer around. Is there?
By now you've
Yeah.
entered the building, but you're hiding around the corner.
We
peering
can
around.
pass back to.
Yeah. We'll pass back to Liam walking in the front door.
Do I know anything about religion?
Assuming you're walking in the front door.
I was going to wait till they came out because
Okay.
they got kicked out.
So they're
So
not
you see us-
leaving there.
He sees us walk out. We go around the corner.
Oh, you go around the corner outside. Okay.
Yeah, that's what.
After
So
a momentary pause, I'll follow them around the corner.
peer around looking for like a marketplace or something. Like
Sure.
Yeah.
And you find a marketplace.
okay, trying to be really obscure and waiting for the right moment when eyes are turned the other way.
Make a stealth check.
Great.
Challenge level versus perception. Challenge level 1. 1 success. Okay.
So as sneakily as possible, Accio bread.
Okay, spellcasting check.
Yep.
The high distance, challenge level is going to be 3. It's an easy, simple enough thing, but it's a long way away.
Okay. Is this charms or just generic?
Okay. You know what?
What did he actually want?
Accio bread.
He just wanted
It's a charm.
Yeah, he wants to make
Yay!
the mouldy bread.
I feel make it. We'll make an artifact.
Yeah.
Boom.
You nailed it.
Yeah.
Bread shoots across, attracting the attention of the stallkeeper that this bread just shoots up his table, flies like 100 meters, and then
Duck around the
into
corner.
your hand.
Like, all right, you ready? And I flip it over to the back sort of side where it would be burnt naturally. And I'm like, who's good at? Well,
You currently have just seen him summon bread. You have no idea what they're doing.
What the hell are you doing?
all right, I'll let you in on the plan. We're gonna make an artifact to convince them the Lord has brought us to them, so they bring us to their artifacts. So if we make like a picture of Christ on the back of the bread and show them, they'll take it to the other artifacts, and we can get the egg where they keep the artifacts. It's brilliant, trust me. Who can draw a picture of Christ?
I can try.
Ready, go. I'm holding the bread.
Religion.
What?
Do I know anything about
You
religion?
know a decent amount. You're
Really?
Yeah. Unless you're, well,
Can
you
I-
choose. Are
will I
your
use
family atheist or not religious?
There's not enough communally that everyone is
Yeah, okay.
religious. All right, Wiley, give it your best go. Like, make your,
Should I try it with magic?
well, yeah, like use your one to make, like heat it up, like soldering, like, wait, does soldering exist? Like a hot poker. Like holding this bread. You're gonna have to cast something to make your wand hot and to like burn into the bread and draw a bad
At
picture.
this point, I'll walk away from the church.
Okay. You,
Scorchus predicus.
okay, I'm going to get it again. It's going to be to draw a face on it at your level of wizardry. It'll be quite skilled. Challenge level 3.
With
It's you're transforming it to a
right,
burnt
yeah,
state.
cool.
So that is his skill.
Yeah.
Yeah. 2. Come on, use a destiny
yeah,
point.
yeah, we'll use this.
You gonna use destiny?
No, I don't have any left.
You don't have any left. There is a hot toasting sound, and then Adwin leans in, grabs the loaf, and just like takes it off your hands, snaps it in half, and just starts eating it.
That was our relic.
Well, you ruined it anyway.
Well,
It's good. And offers you some.
I'll definitely take some.
how else are we going to convince
Just
them
start
to
eating
let
bread.
us into their
Maybe
precious...
Liam's got a plan, she says. If you need me to hit someone, or if you need me to hit them, and she pulls out her wand with magic.
Wait, I mean, that's a likely way to get burnt at the stake, isn't it? I mean,
Yeah.
really, we're treading on dangerous territory here. Going into, a church and showing that we're witches and wizards. Probably not a good look.
I'm a knight.
Well, you're also a witch, right?
No.
You don't have magic,
Well, I do.
but you have a wand.
I'm a knight.
But you're like a witch knight.
No. A knight.
Yeah, with magic.
Yes.
Yeah, so it doesn't make a difference to them. They'll still burn you at the stake, and they're not going to call you a knight.
They would never take me alive.
I mean, she's got gumption, I'll give her that.
I really just wish we had that bread.
You've got the bread. You're eating it.
Why are you eating our artifact?
Because he cooked it. He failed the test and just cooked the whole thing.
Turned it into toast.
Yeah, the whole thing just turned into toast. Yeah, that's why she broke it in half. Because there was like this
Crunch.
brief image of her face and then it just went poof over the whole thing. And it's like, well, that's done.
Liam, I sort of say as he's...
I already walked off. The second you pulled out a wand to start burning the toast.
I trudge around the
What's
corner.
Liam doing?
I'm going in the church.
Okay. You trudge around the corner to see his tail flop in.
I follow.
Tail coats, whatever.
I follow behind.
In the church, what does Liam do?
Is there any side corridors I can walk down?
Yeah, there's two. There's one further along, yeah. You can kind of head down them.
Yeah. I'm just trying to get lost in the church.
You slip away into the abbeys.
What's he up to?
Do you keep following him?
Yes.
Cool. I'm going to get you all to make stealth checks. Which you'll
2.
only fail if you roll nothing, because I rolled nothing.
Oh.
That was close.
1. Oh, that was close.
That microphone just completely collapsed.
It did. Nice.
All right. You all slip away into the abbey, the cloisters, and all that stuff. All the religious church building terms that I'm not really that familiar with.
I follow Liam around the corner.
All right.
What's he up to?
I think he's thinking about pasta. What is Liam doing?
I'm looking for a suitably well-secured room where I think they might be storing goods. Valuable goods.
Make one of those sweet perception rolls.
Give you a challenge level on this one because it's static. Challenge level 2. And he fails.
Our destiny.
Yeah! All right. Liam manages to find a chamber that seems to hold some fairly significant religious relics. And sneaking up to the doorway, the quad of you. What? You're trio, duo, trio. What do you say for 4 people?
Quartet.
The quartet.
Ah,
The quartet of children arrive at the entrance and kind of do that comical heads around the corner based on height. So it'll be you two low and then Edwin and Wiley high.
We're this far away from wearing a shared trench coat.
Yeah. And inside the room you see 3 monks bowed and praying in the room in quiet sort of meditation. And there's sort of this all these relics and stuff kept away here. Some have been kept out for cleaning. Some of them are behind iron bars that look like they're sort of been kept away from everyone else. But above you can see a couple of chandeliers hanging down, lighting the place. And on the far wall, up high, there's all these sort of spots where people can put things. And in one of them, there's a little plinth, and you can see a little golden ball on it.
Nicholas,
Yeah.
I have a shrinking potion.
You have a what?
A shrinking potion.
Really?
Yes. Pre this session,
Yes.
I have vetted a list of things he has taken from his parents' shop of potions.
Wow.
Do you
How small do you get?
I don't know, but I think we should maybe try.
That's so crazy. It just might work. Wait, who's going to drink it?
Well, I figure I'm the tallest, so it may make me the smallest, but
Is that how it works?
I don't know. Maybe the smallest.
He doesn't
if
know
the
how the
smallest
potion
takes it-
That
works.
only makes it shrink
Then-
like a quarter of an inch.
If the smallest takes it, then maybe they'll maybe go the smallest. I don't know.
Well, that would make more sense to me, but maybe I'm wondering about practicality, how are you at climbing? Imagine that wall is the side of a table. Like, are you confident you could climb up there? I look over at Adwin and I'm like, do you think you could climb that? And I point at the bookcase and I say, if you were, and I sort of signal smaller.
Yep.
Bottoms up. And I signal over from Wiley.
I ain't drinking that.
Oh.
What?
I don't know where it's been.
What,
My
in a
parents.
potion shop.
They're very professional.
You have some.
Is there enough for all of it? How much potion? Is there be enough for one person, surely?
Oh,
You'll see, but you don't know. He's not professional enough to know. He just has taken the potion.
Why don't you have some? And then if you're not small enough, you could have some more.
well, I do have another idea.
What's that? I quite like this shrinking idea. It's
Yeah.
quite fun.
I have an aging potion.
That's irrelevant. That doesn't make any sense. Why
can-
would you? What's the point?
We could be a monk.
But then have you got a de-aging potion? And at that, do you have a growing potion? I'm starting to be a little concerned about this potion approach.
Potions is a fairly new concept. You've had potions classes, but they've been really basic stuff, like how to prepare ingredients.
Do you have a way to reverse a shrinking potion? Really?
I
At
think
least
it's
with...
temporary.
If one of you shrinks, I'll throw you up there.
That's what I was thinking.
Who's up for it? I mean... Liam, you're, used to being thrown around by dragons, ain't you?
Hey, that's true, but I'm definitely not going to have any of that spill he's made.
Well, if I have to be the brave one, and I'm not even a Gryffindor, and I reach out, I'm like, it's you or me.
Well, would you prefer me or you?
Maybe we should let fate decide.
Okay.
And I like spin my wand. I'll just roll the dice, but like 1, 2, 3
Okay.
is you, 4, 5, 6 is me. 3. I'm like,
Wiley,
well,
drink your own swill.
All right. I go on.
You chug it?
Yeah. I chug
Destiny
all
does.
of it.
You drink the whole...
Oi, 18.
That was almost a 2. You drink the whole thing, and very rapidly, he just goes boop, 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 and shrinks down to like 3 inches tall.
With his clothes, I'm assuming.
Yes, with his clothes still attached. They shrink. Everything you're carrying in possession
3
shrinks
inches.
with
He's
you.
like a G.I. Joe.
He's like this big.
Wow! What's that like? I say, like, I
And
pick
before you
up.
even have time to react, Aiden just grabs him and yeets him across the room. And
Wait! Oh, God.
And successfully throws you up to the level, not to the direct area. You just get thrown. I'm going to get you to make an acrobatics check to see if you can land upon arrival.
This is great.
You land
Wow, that was a
perfectly without
critical
taking any
success.
injury. You just deftly
Flip in the air.
Flip in
Stop
the
the
air.
landing.
deftly land on the shelf above.
Superhero landing.
You shouted at Wiley, didn't you?
Yes.
One of the monks turns, walks towards you.
What are you doing in here?
Hey, sir, sorry. This man, he's been chasing me. My dad sent me to pay the tithe, and he saw me with the money in the alley, and he's been chasing me this whole way.
Make a persuasion check. Make a deception check.
That's not true at all.
Challenge level 3.
Hey, just look at him.
What do you mean, just look at me? Just look at him. That's my defense as far as that goes.
He's like,
You boys are lying to me.
Destiny roll of 11.
of 11.
Now, tell me why you're really here.
Well, we want to be closer to God. And this seemed like the room in which you fine monks seem to think that's the place to do it. That's a persuasion, I guess. I say earnestly, badly. It's a critical foul. I say that looking like, I guess I don't seem like I believe in God at all or something. I don't know.
Adwin looks left and right at you two, and then it's just like, "You broke in." And then he's like, "Oh!" And he starts like bustling you out. "Children, damn children, never want them, never want anything to do with them." And these monks are very loud and angry. There's no serene monks that you've seen so far.
As we're being bustled out, I take one last look in the room and see if there's any sort of like way to sort of, if there's like a ceiling sort of walkway or entry or something to climb on, or just something that I could work my way back in out of sight or something. I don't know.
There is not. It's up.
Is it just the one monk?
There's two more in the room.
What's
But the one monk bustling you, yes.
Is there a window?
No, this is like a vault.
So
being
is this
bustled
so we're
away.
being bustled away by an old man.
By a fat, middle-aged man. Not old. The first one was really old. This
Is there any
one's
way to get our wands
fat.
out without him seeing?
He'd probably see you doing it. He's directly bustling. I mean, you could do it. He'd just see you pull a stick out.
Might be a bad idea, but we could totally put him out of action. I think desperate times. We found the artifact. I think we just got to get it and get out. That thing you did to me at the plant. What do you think?
Fuck it.
Yeah.
Why not?
Petrificus Totalis.
Petrificus
Yeah.
Totalis.
Okay, challenge level, grown-ass man, 3.
Oh god. Fail.
Success.
My rolls today.
Oh, that was bad. It was one, so it wasn't critical fail.
No.
But do you try?
Well, I'd have to see that this
Yeah,
failed
yeah.
first.
Alright. Can I get you to make I'll say a sleight of hand check. Dexterity sleight of hand. Challenge level's only 1. But equal, he wins.
One.
Okay. So as you do that, he's just like, "What nonsense!" And he goes out and he grabs your wand and then pulls it out of your hand. And then he just keeps bustling you while holding your wand. "Don't wave that stick at me!"
Petrificus Totalis.
Are you going to do it too?
Yeah.
Okay, it's challenge level 3, and you're not trained in this one. He's trained in it.
2. I'll use a destiny point. Barely pulled that one off.
Destiny roll. Okay.
17.
You can hear some rousings in the rooms around you that you've made some level of notice, but it sounds like they're in the way that you think like your pets made a noise. They're going to get up and check, but they're not like rushing into the room. So you've
Okay,
got
can I take my wand
few
back?
moments.
I was going to say,
Do they go completely stiff or like?
I think they do.
Rigid?
They petrify.
Yes. So you can make a.
So they can be moved.
Roll.
Can they they can be dragged, but
roll.
can they be?
Yeah, they can.
Can you open their hands? and
Because
stuff?
when Hermione gets petrified by the basilisk in book 2, she has a piece of paper crumpled in her hand.
they take it out?
They unfold her hand to take out the paper.
That's not the same as the spell though.
But it's still
No.
petrification.
It's two different things.
I think it's like the Neville Longbottom. Just
he turns into a plank. and-
Why are you arguing for this?
Because I think
No,
it's
well,
two
just
different
'cause
things.
of- yeah.
Because the whole thing with the basilisk is that they saw it and that like paralyzed them with fear
It's been-
or something.
it's
It's like a
frozen in
weird.
time.
Petrification.
No, it's a different thing.
No,
Are you talking about
really
getting
say
his wand
petrification.
out of the hand?
Yeah, that's what he wants to do. I just said you'd have to make. I was saying you have to make a strength check.
Yeah,
See if you can
I-
prise his
I think
fingers
that's
up.
fair.
Challenge level 2.
Fuck me, I'm not strengthy.
Haha, child!
2.
You succeed. You
Cool.
managed to prise his fingers off your wand and get it back.
Then I quickly bolt back to
What?
the room.
I'm like,
Wiley was
no,
saying.
come back! And I start trying to push
Wiley,
this.
what are you doing? You just think about what you're doing.
Yeah.
What's Wiley doing?
Yeah, you're on the shelf. You're
I'm on the
tiny.
shelf.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm going to get the snitch.
Cool.
Oh,
the
sorry.
what? Sorry.
The golden
the
ball.
golden egg. The golden egg of archery.
Sorry,
It's called. You go over to it.
Yep, pick it up.
Make a strength check.
It's as big as you.
Challenge level 2.
Square cube law.
Challenge level strength.
He's smaller, so he's stronger.
Not necessarily.
Square cube law.
Let's just
They
keep
can
it.
lift more than their own body weight. That's how it works.
It's Dave's world to put the laws in. 1.
This is physics.
And then I'll, since I failed that,
I think the physics would probably apply differently on a small person. I don't know.
I'll pull out and drink my strength potion.
Hell yeah!
Way!
Destiny roll. Yeah!
16.
You're imbued with strength.
You have a strength potion? God damn,
You're
man.
tiny and
You got
just like
stopped.
And then you just lift this thing up.
Yeah.
The thing is, it's a sphere of pure gold, so it weighs a lot. Because his body weight would only be like...
I assume that I consumed all of that.
Yeah, you chug this, and now you can lift it. You're lifting the orb. What are you doing?
Well, when I was flying across the room, I didn't see any other exits, right? You said it's a vault. Yeah. Cool. So, yeah, I'm just like slowly making my way back around.
How are you going to get down?
Well, I have
Got
to
strength. Jump. Use your strength. Strengthy legs to.
All right. What are you two doing?
I ran back into the room that the other two monks were
I'm like,
probably in.
where are you going? Come back! And I'm trying to roll in by myself.
The two monks turn.
Help us, your mate's collapsed in the hallway.
Make a persuasion check.
It's not, he's true. I'm telling the truth, he collapsed in the hallway.
Okay. They stand up. That's still persuasion. It's not. I didn't say deception. I said make a persuasion
Yeah, you're trying
check.
to convince them that this happens.
Because you also these people weren't dead. They've been listening. Okay,
Critical success.
These people aren't dead. They were there listening to the conversation the guy had with you, trying to bustle the boys out of the room.
Yeah.
And now they're like, okay, he's not BSing us, and they hop up and run out, and they're like, oh, don't stand about, go help, come, and they drag you with them to go to the body, and they're all around him, like, trying to help him. Leaving you. And I'm going to say Adwin comes with, but you managed to, slip away.
But back away during the bustle, and I, peek back into the room. I'm assuming to see a little...
Probably see me with...
Are you about to jump off?
Yeah.
This is where...
Do I see him before I do it?
Yeah, he pops into the entrance.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm, waving it around, yelling, but I don't know if he hears me.
So,
Yeah, he doesn't hear me.
You say I don't hear him.
no. I rolled a destiny and got a 4.
Because his voice is too small.
He's just too small. Otherwise, I would have get you to make a perception, but it's like a little...
Would strength strengthen his vocal muscles?
No.
Shall I? Is it possible to just jump down
begging.
shelf to shelf? Is that a...
Yeah. I'm going to get you to
I'm
make
gonna
a
try it.
destiny roll.
Okay.
Beforehand. This is important. As soon as you jump off the first shelf, wings burst from the small thing that you're carrying, and it goes and just shoots out into the middle of the room. Make a athletics check.
Yeah.
You can count as having 3 strength for this check, though.
Okay.
Oh,
So that's
cool.
3 strength plus
Base 3, and then any training in athletics,
which is what? So how many dice?
so
is that?
you get 7 dice. And challenge level for holding onto this is going to be probably 4. 4!
Nice.
You hold on to the archery target as it flits around the room wildly, like, and you're just hanging on.
Love it.
What are you doing?
I see this golden ball flying in the air and a tiny Wily clinging onto it. Akio Wily!
Make a casting check. It's going to be challenge level probably 4 because he's a moving
And I've got
target.
no more destiny points. Let's see how this goes. 1, 2, 3!
Oh.
No!
You just cast it twice and miss. Although you don't even need to target it. You just pull it to you, but it doesn't come because I guess you called it the wrong thing. And you flit around the room. Liam.
Is there anything I can do for him? Do we need water?
One of them runs off to go get water. At that, and then they're like, "No, we're helping him. He's alive. He's just not responding."
He called out before he collapsed.
Whoa, 4. What was that for? Perception?
And there is a thunk, and the monk just collapses onto the other one as Adwin with her wooden sword just over the back of his head.
Oh my god.
And then he's like, "I dealt with him." Should we go help the others? Come on.
Aye, let's go.
Alright. Meanwhile,
She like roughly grabs you and starts pushing you in that direction.
I grab the broom in the corner of the room.
4 successes.
Oh my God.
On an unarmed man. Yep.
I grab the broom in the corner of the room.
There isn't one.
Come on, yes there is!
18. There is a broom.
There's a broom
in the room.
Oh my God.
And I cast...
You know what? No, there's not a broom. But you know what there is?
What?
Because it feels more right. There's like one of those really long poles with the candlesticks on them for like the religious ceremony.
Okay, all
It's
right.
basically going to function the same.
All right, I grab that, throw the candles off of it in a way that aren't going to
Flick
burn
off
things.
candles, yep.
I hold it
They're not on
underneath
fire,
me.
they were unlit, but
Yeah,
anyway.
okay. I hold it underneath me, and I cast Wingardium Leviosa on the candlestick holder thing underneath.
Challenge level 4.
Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4!
It levitates slightly off the ground while you're concentrating on it.
And I'm just trying to keep it levitating further up so I can reach up and grab the flying golden...
You manage to get like 2 foot, and then I'm going to say you make a destiny roll, and then if you get higher than a 11, you can attempt to grab him.
12!
You do. Make an athletics check to attempt to grab him.
So freaking close. Can I make a grapple/grab check?
Sure.
Yes.
Grip.
Grip, that's what I was going to say. Yeah.
Gripple.
Yeah. Okay, what's the challenge level?
Moving target. It's going to be pretty high. I'm going to say a 4.
1, 2, 3. Oh, yeah. Can Wiley assist
Wiley can
me?
assist you.
Yeah.
You can use anything that you can justify to me to assist.
I'm
get-
gonna try and grab the snitch's wing.
Yep.
So golden egg's wing,
Strength athletics to try and like make it not be able to fly as well.
and then
So
I
what's
still
this
get
golden
my-
snitch? Yeah, you still got
Yeah.
3 strength, so it's 7 dice. 1, 2, 3, 4 successes, which adds 1 to you, which means you succeed.
Oh, we're like
And Nicholas just grabs the golden
the
ball
tips of my fingers
and
while-
pulls you down.
we're
Just as Liam and Aedwin run into the room.
Quick, we gotta get out of here. This crazy broad just knocked a night
Just-
monk out.
Who are you calling crazy?
You! You just hit him with a bloody stick.
Uh-oh. 6. Bad for...
She swings a stick at you.
Oh, no. Like...
Like not super violently,
Okay.
but like swats
Okay.
at you with it. You can try and dodge out of the way if you want. Otherwise, you're just going to get swatted in the way that kids smack each other with things.
I'll take it.
You're just like, don't call me crazy.
Don't do crazy things.
Guys, we got the artifact! Run! And I throw Wiley in my pocket and peg it. We're like running through the cathedral.
And it's a chorus of like, whoa, whoa, and all these monks are just like looking up and they're scribing papers. You run past and there's a chorus of giggles as you see a bunch of like Muggle students learning how to read and write, like pop their heads against the things and peek their heads out of the doors, and they're laughing at like the monks getting bowled over and dropping things as you all bustle out of the church and back to the entrance, where an aged man leaning on a stick with a beard says,
Our children. Children, this way. To be safe this way.
Who is it?
you don't recognize them. And but he winks at you like really, really obviously.
Knowing.
And there is a ruby glint on the hilt of his staff.
All right.
Hey, lead the
Follow
way.
them along.
And he leads you basically back down to the storeroom that you came from. And then once he's inside, the door slams, and almost with the slam, there's this like ripple of magic, and Godric is standing next to you. He just
Yeah.
It's gonna be
disguised
rubbing my
himself.
face where I got clocked.
You've got like a welt there.
Yeah.
Hold hands!
Wait.
Wait.
Well, wait. Wiley wasn't holding it, but he's in my pocket.
And
so-
you all arrive back at Hogwarts, successfully recovering the magical archery target, the only one of its kind.
Love it. We make it back. Sir, I say, once we arrive back and things are getting settled, and I pull Wiley out of my pocket, holding him in my hand. I'm like, hey, hello. We had a shrinking potion. We don't have a growing potion. Do you happen to know where we can...
No matter. Potions are temporary affairs, usually.
Oh.
And your parents don't strike me as talented enough to make them permanent. No offense, boy.
You can't talk. I mean, you could, he won't hear.
Yeah. Yeah, you literally, no one can hear your voice.
So
is so
high
soft.
I'm just
Yeah.
like kind of a bit angry, like having to go at him. Oh, my parents.
Well, no,
man.
you know what?
12.
No, I'm going to say even with 12, it's low enough that you can't even understand him. You hear like the peanuts noise, like womp 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 as Gryffindor's talking. And 2 days later, you grow back to your regular size in your sleep.
I want to know what is. I feel like there's a separate one shot in those 2 days, like
Wily's
the adventures of Wily the Shrunken Wizard.
First you had Tiny Merlin, but have you heard of really Tiny Wily?
I love it. Okay, cool.
Weeks pass.
I describe what happened to Godric, and sort of think it might be a fun game, like catching this flying ornament on some sort of stick that levitates.
Ridiculous! It is an archery target. I don't want to hear of any more of this nonsense.
Right.
All right, and weeks pass, and the next day of particular note is Liam telling me something.
I personally feel like Gryffindor should get a -5 points
Why?
because I got hit with a stick.
Who are you saying that to?
You.
What? Yeah, but he didn't
No one
say
else
that.
saw
I
that.
came back nursing a red raw mark on my
Could
face.
have been from the
And
monk
he was
or
3
anything.
inches tall. Gryffindor doesn't care. Have I not kind of sold Gryffindor as completely neglectful and not perceptive?
Rude.
No, Gryffindor is like, in this day and age, it's like, and you got a bruise. Big deal.
Yeah.
Come to me if your limb is missing. More like, valorous and chivalrous, Adwin, you successfully convinced your companions to action. All right, so 2 weeks later.
I feel cut.
Well, if he'd seen it, it might have been different. But just like the sword, he doesn't seem to pay much attention. So, the next class of interest is you are sitting in potions class. Students, today is the first day. I shall have you creating a potion of any merit. You, of course, have learnt in the first semester on safely preparing and procuring ingredients. And you now must prepare a potion of actual importance. You must make this potion to cure fever and nausea. You must use 2 strands of silk of the great spider. You must use reagents, this traditional base, a cup of diced Wesselworts, a drop of foxglove oil. You must use this small vial. You must use a crushing method on the garlic infusion. That's for flavor, of course. Now, you have the instructions in your books. Proceed. And then he leans back and starts brewing something on his own.
Okay.
And you all in the class begin.
As individuals? Or
Yeah, everyone as an individual begins to produce potions.
Cool. We roll.
Cool.
Just a standard magic
So,
proficiency check.
yeah, make a potion making proficiency check. Do you have a proficiency?
I don't actually have proficiency.
I guess your parents didn't teach you very much
So,
yet.
in which case, is it just the base 3 plus attributes?
It's just base 3 plus intelligence, and the challenge level is 2. It's not, it requires some level of skill as you start preparing the regions to the basics.
Liam. Nothing.
Cool.
Critical fail. 1. Oh, the potion.
You two are having a hard time. You're struggling on. It's just you're so new to all this, and it's the preparation. It's like you're trying to prepare the ingredients properly, and you get one wrong, and you have to get more ingredients and keep chopping it up.
It's usually all prepared for me.
And there's some mockery, and it seems like only probably a quarter of the class have managed so far to be doing well. And you'd say that's Merlin, Morgana, Liam, and one of the other students that you haven't met, or you've met obviously, but we're leaving some characters unnamed just in case we come back to it and we want to have other guests.
Yeah, of course.
And one of the other students. So And you haven't... Yeah, you're just pushing along. And maybe 10, 15 minutes pass. And then I'm going to get you all to make perception checks. Challenge level 2.
2. 3. 3.
Whoops.
4 to Wiley.
Wiley is the first to notice anything when he is over collecting more ingredients to
Start.
I don't want to say, but to redo some of his potion making. He hears soft whispering between Morgan and one of her female friends. And there's a slight giggle, and then one of them heads over towards Merlin. At this time, so you haven't noticed any of that. At this time, Liam notices that one of the girls walks over to Merlin and starts softly talking to him, asking him, "Oh, I'm struggling so much with my potion. Please, you look like you're doing so well. Can you help me with mine? Come on." And Merlin's like, oh, of course. I'd be happy to help you. Anyone who's struggling, I'm willing to help. And he hops over, and the two bustle over to the other girl's stand. To this point, that Nicholas notices, the three of you are all now fully aware, notices that Morgan walks over to Merlin's potion stand and taps her wand a couple of times against the side of his cauldron, and then walks back to her desk.
Merlin taps his
Morgan taps
her wand on
Merlin's cauldron and then wanders off. Back to Morgana. I keep saying Morgan.
I look around after I notice that, and just to see if I catch anyone else having noticed that at the same time.
These two seem to be watching, but no one else.
So I make eye contact. I like, what do your expressions say?
I just instantly say something. What does tapping a wand on a
Quiet
thing do?
in my class, please. I'm working.
Oh. But sir, ma'am?
Sir?
10 points from Hufflepuff for disturbing the peace.
Poor Hufflepuff are really doing hard with their points.
I'm gonna scurry over to Merlin.
Mm-hmm.
Merlin, Morgan just tapped your thing with her wand, and just
I don't know what that could mean. I'm just and the girl he's with, and he can roll to counter. I'm just rolling with my own NPCs for a bit. She's like, "No, Merlin, just go away, Wiley, go away." And then kind of pushes you away, and then like almost forcibly gets Merlin. It's like, "No, help me with this. I need help," and distracts him a bit further.
you're so rude.
Yeah, well, some of them are.
They're playing some sort of game. Don't like that lot. You saw that, didn't you, Liam? I mean, there's foul play.
I shake my head and go back to my work.
Well, what
You
do we
did see
do?
that.
Yeah, I did. I saw that. They're trying to muck up Merlin.
A couple of minutes pass with you being kind of unable to do a whole lot of anything. And I'm going to get the two of you to make rolls for your potions again.
Challenge level.
Challenge level is 2 still.
Oh, finally.
second
made it.
chance.
Got it this time, and I did not.
Okay. So, half an hour passes. Pretty much the whole class as you bubble, you brew, you broth. Make a perception check, challenge level 3. This is just for Nicholas.
2, 3, 4. Challenge level 3, which I fail.
Okay, awesome. So the class continues, and all it seems none the wiser. And at the about half an hour later, everyone has successfully brewed their potions. They're all sitting in front of them, bubbling, ready to go. And Slytherin stands up and says, "Are you all quite finished?"
Yes.
Aye.
Yes.
There's a chorus of yeses. Well, take a vial and fill it. You fill a vial from your cauldrons. Now, drink your potions. Knock it back.
I look at Merlin and I say, Do you want to swap? There's something wrong with yours. I'll take one for the team. That's very successful.
Are you going to try and persuade him? That's just his perception.
Yeah.
Okay. Beat 4.
Because I'm just sort of assuming I don't know I've failed my potion, but I know someone's meddled with his.
3 successes. You're very convincing, and he's like... He looks at you, looks at your potion. I'm going to get Liam. I'm going to say Liam has done well enough consistently that he knows that the only person in the room that's potion is obviously wrong is Nicholas. And in a moment, you look at Merlin and you see this exchange quietly happening. And Merlin looks at Nicholas, who's like, we should swap potions, looks down at it and kind of gives like that, his expression like softens as in like the... I'm going to take one for the team. And then he's like, okay. I'm sure yours is
This could go
excellent.
so badly.
And then he swaps potions with you. And then he just kind of like closes his eyes and squints slightly and drinks Nicholas Plod's potion.
I have no idea what's going to happen, but I drink Merlin's potion knowing someone's messed with it.
Okay, you bravely.
Yeah.
Yeah, you really should be a Gryffindor. Okay. A little bit of time passes. Merlin starts to go pale. Nicholas, your throat tightens up and his skin starts to swell.
I knew it. I look at Merlin. I'm like, they did something to your potion. You didn't do this.
You're starting to really, really struggle. Merlin just like looks like he's got a mild fever and he like leans down on his table just looking sick. But you look magically sick.
Yeah.
And you're starting to like twist and feel very sick. And Slytherin, at this stage, a bunch of the students have left the class, like the ones that had already succeeded. He's like, oh, this is all happening in the sidelines. And he's like, yes, you may go, you may go.
Is what's happening with Merlin something that a potion should cure?
Yes, it's a potion to cure fever.
Can I get a vial of my potion and give it to him if I see him in discomfort?
Yes, you may.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Cool. And you pour that to Merlin, and Merlin drinks it, and he seems to recover. Slowly, the colour comes back to his cheeks. He's, thank you. Thank you, Liam. It was kind. My potion doesn't seem to be working quite the way it was intended to.
I did tell you something happened.
That was brewed badly, but yours, Merlin, was brewed criminally. I am loath to do it, but I will have to take 10 points from my own house. Unless...
I can tell you why.
Liam, you can brew another one and redeem us.
Oh, you can give it a crack, sir.
And he's not into. He's just ignoring you. Like, he's actually just ignoring you. You are like, I can tell you why. And he's like,
Redeem my choices there, Liam. Brew another one, just the same.
but oh no. Oh no. You need to collect the ingredients. So
Okay.
tell me there, Liam. What, besides the basic reagents, are the key ingredients to this potion? Would you like the list of ingredients you can pick from?
Yes.
Here are the ingredients you can pick from. Infusion of wormwood, flubberworm mucus, aconite, asphodel, dittany dragon blood, molly, wigan tree bark, moon dew, salamander blood, sloth brain mucus, spine of loonfish, wesselwarts, bones, flitterby moth, fox glove, bouncing bulbs, and spider's silk.
How many are there?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
No, how many do I need to pick?
3. There were 3 major ingredients. They were listed to you at the start of the class.
Whistlewort?
You
Spider
grab the
silk.
whistlewort. You grab the spider silk. You two can help. He's struggling.
I really,
if you remember.
No, I would want to. I actually want him to succeed here.
I knew Rob, after like the third ingredient, Rob was like, I gotta write it down, and he started it.
Yeah, but I missed the first two.
Yeah.
I think one of them was silk something.
It's the spider silk, already got it. I'm pretty sure it's one of two of them, but I'm not sure.
I thought it was
what was your...
what was the...
What have you got so far?
Whistlewort and spider silk.
What was it? What are your other options?
Well, you've just thrown me.
Imagine me turning the actual Hogwarts. For the final class, I wanted to make it a quiz.
Yeah. Yeah, all the other house teachers are like the adventures into the forest and out into the abbey.
It's a quiz!
Pop quiz!
It's a quiz!
No!
Adventure!
This was the dark villain all along.
What did you think it was?
Pop quiz.
It was one of the...
Yeah, you were specifically like, add a dark villain. And I'm like,
I forgot the...
I have, but
You said it like Ack or
It's
something.
a pop quiz.
we're halfway through.
Yeah.
I mean,
Started with A,
we're not.
I think.
There's not more content.
Do you have any memory of them?
Like the video to see the extra content.
No.
Fuck.
I'm sorry.
What was the list again? Because Jeremy said one that started with like Akka or something.
I think that rings a bell for me, so I'd go with that.
The third one did,
Aconite.
I think. Or is it the one underneath it?
Asphodel? Did you get Asphodel?
Asphodel, isn't it? I'm confident in the two I have.
Or is it Dragon Blood?
No, it's not Dragon Blood.
Slothbrain mucus.
Don't think.
Nah.
I don't like. Dave, stop making faces.
Salamander blood. I'm just reading the list things, and I think you just need to do your best.
I wish I'd written them down sooner.
Come on. Snake fangs, bones, flitter by moth, bouncing bob, fox glove.
Flitted by moth.
Flitter by moth? Okay, and you get to your table, and how do you prepare them, and in what quantities?
Oh, really?
You
That's
just have
so
a pile of
mean.
ingredients.
Can you let him make a character intelligence check?
Yeah, have a look at
No.
that. Have a look
Really?
at that. What
He
about
has to remember the quiz. This is class.
That's so mean.
This, just like the education system, I'm going to judge all of your merits based on your ability to retain one specific piece of information I briefly told you to retain earlier in the session.
Oh, man.
And that's it. Your whole academic life stems
Great.
on this one arbitrary test.
Just a cup of whistlewort.
And I'm going to give you diced. You dice the Wesselwarts, and you have a cup of diced Wesselwarts. That's correct.
I mean, if anyone's capable of this.
You look at your great spider silk. How many strands do you pluck?
2.
2 out of 3.
Really? No way!
Yeah.
And flitted by moth. Yeah?
You have flitter by moths.
It's not flitted by moth.
I'm not saying.
Fuck.
It's not for the
Slytherin
bombers,
watches
It's
on.
not, you can tell by the way you said it.
but that would be metagaming.
Why is this the most fun I'm having all session?
Can you go back to the table?
We can't. That would be
I'm
metagaming.
kidding.
No, you-
Yeah, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
Sorry.
You,
Can I look? There's nothing left on my preparation bench. Because I finished early. I would have been studying.
yeah, you cleared it all up. That's your problem. You packed all your stuff away. You were so good.
Fuck it. The wings of the flitted by moth.
Okay, and you plucked them in. There's boiling bubbling.
And garlic.
For flavour.
And garlic for flavor. There's boiling and bubbling. Well, that's why I introduced the ingredients and then rambled for 5 minutes and then went back to you making the potions so you'd forget them. There's bubbling brewing, and eventually you create a potion that is the wrong colour, and you know immediately that it's not right.
Fucking flitted by moth.
I guess you'll need more in the way of education. So, Liam, has plodding around with Nicholas brought you down to his level then? And Wiley? Supposedly you're from a family of potion makers. You've all disappointed me. So... Oh, you, yes. And he waves his wand and, almost flicks it to the side, and a little potion flitters across and you grab it. You're very rapidly cured of your condition. Does anyone know the final ingredient?
Was it?
Aconite.
That would be metagaming.
What was it?
Is it
A drop
aconite?
of foxglove oil.
That was my other one.
Oh no!
Rob, did you get really upset when you got 99% on tests at school? I'm assuming you got 99% on tests at school.
Okay. Come on.
That was impressive.
Did you get upset when you got 99% on tests at school?
I never got 99% on a test.
What, always 100?
No.
Okay.
But
That's
I have
impressive.
got-
That was
I
very
have gotten
impressive.
100 on a test before, and I never stop bragging about it.
He's left. He's gone.
I got
He's
100
apparated out
I
of
got
the.
110% on the test before. Best
Did you?
result I ever got in my life.
That's impressive.
I have
10%.
results.
110%.
Oh.
That's like magic.
I had answers that were
They had
given
bonus
me
questions.
official exam results.
No, good. The one.
I am actually really annoyed because, like, I literally wrote it down as, like, when you went to the list, I wrote Wesselwart, Flitterby, Foxglove, Spider.
Yep.
And then I went with...
Yeah, because I only verbally named like 5 things, but then I knew at the end the idea was that you'd get up to the ingredient table
Yeah.
and you'd see the full array of ingredients, and you were meant to be like, oh, well, it's one of the ones that got signed. Anyway, with potions class done, the rest of your weeks in Hogwarts move on with joy and excitement, fun. All
Keep
the
an eye
merriment.
on that Morgan.
But, yeah, Morgana's almost taken a slightly dark turn, and some people don't seem to mind. However, there is an interesting thing happening where she definitely doesn't seem to be favoured by Slytherin. And it seems questionable as to why she was never in Slytherin in the first place. She's definitely courageous, but she definitely feels like a better fit for Slytherin. But you don't know. You haven't asked. You haven't figured it out yet. But over the coming weeks, I'm actually going to get you guys to roll on behalf, 1d6 on behalf of your
1d6.
class.
Okay.
Your house, sorry.
House. Well, yeah, you go first.
Hufflepuff.
Buff.
40 points for Hufflepuff accumulated in the next few months.
80, 90, 100, 110 total. All right. Slytherin. Oh, you may go first? All right.
Actually, you know what I should do?
What?
Destiny rolls. Higher or lower for Hufflepuff. Higher. So you're in Slytherin? Lower. Roll your d6. Slytherin
Oh,
loses
I
10
see.
points. Over
Oh,
the
so
turn.
that's
Oh.
good. That's good though.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
you
so
rolled the best
wasn't-
possible
I
roll.
wasn't
So your destiny roll is our roll
Higher,
is the
lower
amount
for-
of points.
Higher
Okay.
and lower for Ravenclaw.
Wait, why did I lose
Lower.
points?
Because it's not you, it's your whole house
Yeah.
over the months. So you go lower, so
it still
Ravenclaw
sucks.
is losing how many points?
10.
No, you roll your d6.
Oh, Ravenclaw is. Oh, you
It's
rolled
your
if it's
house.
higher or lower.
Ravenclaw
Oh,
loses
what?
50 points.
No! No!
Gryffindor
Do you have a
loses.
destiny point? Do you have a destiny point?
No.
Gryffindor loses 20 points.
So 100. So the winner is Hufflepuff!
Rob is so cut about
I feel like
was so
Tiny
unexpected.
Wiley's performance
Yeah.
this episode earned the crap out of winning the first ever.
So we reach the final feast, and Gryffindor comes up for. Well, all the teachers go up for a speech, but Gryffindor heads it. This year has been an adventure, a journey, and one of learning for our apprentices, but also for us. We would like to further remind you that whilst you're privileged with the tutorship of magic, your behavior of late has been somewhat unacceptable, with the exception of Hufflepuff's students, who have maintained the highest standard.
It's because everyone's been losing points.
Everyone lost a bunch of points. Everyone's basically started misbehaving towards the end of the year.
Well, can I get a chance to maybe try and spike Morgana's drink with a love potion?
What, during the feast?
We'll get to that. We'll get to that after the speech. Gryffindor. Next year, we have made some decisions. We will each be taking on another apprentice, bringing you all to 16 students.
Wow.
They will be as accomplished as you, taken from advanced and skilled students. And they will join us here at the academy.
So, the basic thing is, this is still more like a tutorship program. It's not big enough yet.
Yeah.
So there's not a second year of students. The first year is just going to get bigger. Yeah, but they'll be second year students. Now, from the speech, he warns you that, well, I should just do it in character.
I warn you that as time progresses and our academy grows, we must be ever vigilant for the vicious predations of ignorant muggles pushing in on the sanctuary we wish to create. And once more, as of a few weeks ago, I remind students that the woods are off limits without teachers' supervision. Going forth, I'd like you to all to remember to look out for one another, says Ravenclaw. We might be of different teachers, but we're of one spirit, to come forth and bring great things to the wizarding community. And with that, enjoy your feast! And to your academic excellence.
Slytherin raises a glass. And everyone toasts to the end of a good year and many new things to come.
3 cheers for Hogwarts! Hip hip!
Hooray!
Does anyone join in?
Hip hip hooray, says Merlin. And Wiley, do you have anything you wish to add while everyone's swilling cups together?
Yeah. I want to try and...
Sleight of hand.
Yeah.
Sleight of hand check.
Is it sleight of hand check?
So, have we mentioned you have a love potion? Of the potions you have, I feel like you should come clean as to all the potions you have.
I have a love potion, I have a truth serum, and I still have the aging potion is the other one. I
You say 3 total now, but you've used
and
strength
a fart
and strength.
potion.
And a fart potion.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe I
Look
should-
at that face of glee right there.
Or should I do the fart potion on it?
What do you want to do? Destiny dice.
Let the dice decide.
Yeah.
Below
higher
10 or
go-
below is a fart.
Okay.
It's a fart! Oh god.
Alright.
Okay.
What a way
Sleight
to
of
end the
hand.
year.
Sleight
Sleight of hand check.
with Tomoko.
Challenge level 3.
Oof. Let's see how this goes. 3! No, 2!
I wish I had a destiny, I would have totally used it.
Who are you trying to use this on?
Morgan.
Morgana. You attempt to slip a potion into Morgana's drink. She grabs your wrist and puts her thumb and her thumbnail into your skin and presses it in viciously. And she twists your arm.
I'm sorry.
And then she says,
sorry.
and then she takes the potion out of your hand
sorry.
and says, oh, that's fine. And then while she's holding your hand, she pours it directly into your drink, lifts hers and says, cheers, and lets go of you.
I dropped my drink.
You drop your drink. That's the roll. Okay. It hits the table, clatters, and then with a wave of her wand, she pushes the liquid up off the table back into the cup and writes it, and then says, "You appear to have dropped that, Wiley. Now, our toast to Hogwarts, was it? And a wonderful school year ahead."
Cheers.
And she cheerses you. Do you drink?
She's drinking it.
She's drinking.
She's drinking.
Are you drinking? You're under heavy duress. How are you going to get out of it if you're not going to drink?
Alright.
You drink?
Some, not a lot.
The drink passes your lips. There is a gurgle. A grumble. And to a chorus of children's laughter, as Wiley begins his flatulent evening.
Does Morgana?
No.
What she just? Oh, because
She poured
he
his
didn't pour
potion
it.
back in his drink and drank her own drink. And she just watches with a grin as Violet sits there awkwardly farting.
Might have been more awkward if it was the love potion.
Yeah. What an awkward. Yeah, actually. What a way to end Hogwarts First Class farting.
With a cheer and a fart. Which really, I think, summarises our mini campaign here.
A cheer and a fart? I do.
We were farting around and we all had a lot of cheerful times.
Does Liam have anything you want to add to the end before of the first year?
Since that abysmal moment in the potions class where he failed in front of Slytherin and
he
his
looks so
compatriots,
sad.
he's doubled down on his study, refusing to let that happen.
Oh my god.
You're becoming a mega book
ruthless.
nerd. That's good.
But it's like, it's nerdiness in pursuit of being the best.
But it's also, it's good because in a way, narratively, I can see that nerdiness taking your focus away from interest in being part of a clique, which in a way is separating you from Morgana.
Because they're all
and her
about
influence.
fitting in and doing the things.
Yes, whereas
in order
you're
to-
like more like, but
I'm
study.
going to win, yeah.
Yeah.
But
So-
then actually, if you win and you're surrounded by people who may be better intentioned, you're probably naturally, hopefully, going to gravitate towards a more allied position if we come back and
If
keep
we
playing.
come back to year 2.
I think that's
there
up
is
to you
There
guys.
is a nasty person in
What's
this
that? Do we have a number? Do we have a like number? Maybe we should have a like number.
I think it's just a view number.
View. Okay.
Just gotta see if it gets good reception.
If when all Hogwarts episodes have over,
50?
I was going to say 10,000.
Over 50
50
views.
combined.
50 combined.
50,000 combined.
I guess if the first one has like a
That'll
lot,
show us
or 10,000
Each.
minimum 10,000, which is this episode.
arbitrary numbers.
Yeah.
It's not really that relevant.
Just
if you guys
like
show
and
us that you love
subscribe.
it, like,
Yeah.
subscribe. If we notice that there's a lot of love for it in fan art, in comments, in Discord,
I think
and
once we
everything.
commit to a year 2, it's sort of a commitment to more. Like as you do
No.
the sequel, it's like
It's not.
Really?
We can just do a
Yeah.
If you're watching in the distant future and we've done all 7 years and this video has 2 million views,
Yay.
humble beginnings.
fucking love it.
What do you think of Rob's beard? What do you think of Rob's beard in 2025?
It's a lot browner and
It's a it's a lot more like Hagrid's than I thought it would be. But hey, if he went in that direction,
yeah.
Got a very similar.
I'm
face.
asking
We
the
all used to
future.
be so young and vibrant.
For some reason, there's a scar
You
across
just
your
look
foot.
so old today.
It's one extra
Doesn't she
year
look
just
tired?
on my face. Speaking of, because I was wished happy birthday from patrons, I want
Were
to
you?
thank patrons. I was ready. Check it out. Well, Professor X 1718, thank you. But thank you, happy birthday, Jazz.
Happy birthday, Jazz.
But not just me.
Happy birthday to Dollar. Happy birthday, Gobi.
Thank you, the Dark Fox.
AJ Macy.
Kieran on.
We all cut Jeremy off.
Brooklyn
You got- there
K.
You do
go.
too.
Karen Wen.
How come no one can say that name? It's just
And
it's
happy
just-
birthday, Jasmine.
Ah, thank you.
Is-
Thanks, Rob.
It's school. Karen Wan.
Thank you all so much
And
for
thank
watching.
you to all our patrons.
You've done an amazing job narrating it, bringing
You know
the
what?
spirit of Hogwarts and the wizarding world.
It's been joyous sitting on this side of the table and watching you flounder about in the world of magic.
Oh, man.
Dave can narrate something not dark.
Except for
Is
that
this the-
final bit.
What, the fart?
Yeah, that was horrible. Oh, it was so dark.
Do, do.
It was a green cloud in the air of Hogwarts.
Oh, it got vile.
If I was to make a farting potion magically, that would be one of the subtle effects, but it would also make it green. It would be my one thing is I'd want to be visible
yeah,
fart.
like the Sims clouds.
100%.
Thank you all so much for watching. This was a lot of fun, and maybe we'll see you in future episodes. Maybe by the time you watch this, we saw you in future episodes. In which case, thank you for showing your support now by smashing that like button. In the meantime,
Thank you.
And may all your Jeremy's outros be filled with Jeremy, not me.
Finite.
You meant to speak when I
live
said
Jeremy's got this.
Bye. What? Oh. Thank you and goodbye, Finnicus.